I seen some people that were commenting on my story. They're like, "Damn, Ak, you looking like a groupie." Man, I sing the song every day. What you think I'm about to be at a concert? Actually, there's a lot more I could have recorded. I didn't really want to record too much because I really want to have just my phone. There's people who go to the concert. By the way, I'm bringing everybody online now. So welcome to YouTube and even Facebook. They're getting online now. But I see a lot of people go to concerts and the whole time they're just videoing the shit. I ain't gonna lie, I enjoyed every fucking minute of the show. Just salute to Burna Boy, salute to his team. Um, it was actually great. I didn't even get no backstage shit. I was like just front motherfucking row, and I was just having a time of my life. I was there with my brother, security, and a couple of people, but that shit was so good, so good. Um, Everything just because I like Burna Boy a lot, everything y'all gonna hear me say, y'all gonna think I'm dick riding, but it's just so true. Man, I'm gonna just keep it a bean with you when it comes to hip hop music. Yo, hip hop performers got to step it up. These Afrobeats artists are really killing it when it comes to performances. And if I really, I'm not gonna say it's all right. Like for example, I went to Kendrick's show. Kendrick has a really top tier show, like an amazing fucking show. But for the vast majority of artists in hip hop, I really think niggas be mailing it in. Like I think niggas really just mailing a performance. You ever go to a nigga's performance and all they doing is shouting over their own track? Like that's just whack. You know what I mean? Like again, when I'm talking about performance factor, right? And I know some of y'all think the crowd going wild means the performance is good. That's not performing. Having the crowd sing half the song, that's not performing. Because there's a mosh pit, that's not performing. I'm talking about, and I'm challenging a lot of these hip hop artists. Y'all gotta elevate y'all touring experience, y'all stage performance. You literally got to do that. You know what I mean? Like when you watch these Afrobeat artists, not only do they don't just tour with their DJ, they tour with a whole live band, backup singers. They have other ancillary dancers that come in and out. Like it's a huge stage production. And when you kind of watch that, like it's just never a dull moment, but the music takes on a different life. When you see the breakdowns, that like the songs is just better. There's they create their own interludes to transition into songs like shit. You get a saxophone, motherfucking solo for a second. You see the guys with the motherfucking drums. They come out, they do their thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. You go to a hip hop concert, it's a bunch of niggas sagging their pants. I'm not saying all. Like obviously the top tier guys, they at that point do a good job to put a good performance on. But I'm talking about the majority, man. You know what I mean? 50 niggas on stage, half these niggas just there to just jump around. Come on. I like after going to like a concert like Burna Boy's, and by the way, I don't want to make this like, there's really good performers in hip hop. I'm just saying it feels like the almost a prerequisite to even be on certain stages for an Afrobeat artist seems to be like, hey, listen, you got to be able to deal with live instrumentation. You got to bring something else. And backing tracks are never the thing. You know what I mean? You got to actually showcase the vocals that people who listen to, stream the song, or purchased it, they heard on the song. They want to hear your vocals. You know what I mean? Yeah. These days it's like a karaoke sing along. They got the whole song playing in the back. They don't even at least like, okay, we'll have the chorus play. That's usually called a backing track. You have the chorus play, but then the verses, you give it space that the rapper could rap over. Nah, nowadays they just play the original track from iTunes. That's one of my takeaways. But anyway, other than that, Burna Boy, 41,000 people sold out at the Citi Field Stadium. That's where the Mets play. It's kind of crazy to see how big Afrobeats has grown. By the way, I think I posted this stat to my Instagram. By the way, let me tweet out that we're live. I posted this stat to my Instagram. It shows you the amazing growth of like Afro beats and shit. I ain't gonna lie, that shit looked like a big African cookout out there, man. I felt like I needed a dashiki or some shit, but it was a good time. Um, Let me see. It was a stat from it was like Spotify or something like that, and it kind of showcased the growth of Afrobeat over the last couple of years. and basically it was like some insane percentage right here. Afrobeats growth over the years since 2017. Streams were 2 billion. In 2022, last year, 13.5 billion. That's a 550% growth. It's the reason why you're seeing some of these African artists. Davido just sold out Toyota Center. That's where the Rockets play. Burna Boy is selling out a stadium. WizKid as well is doing the Barclays. So again, I've been talking about the globalization of music, but it's clear that non-native to America music has definitely a place over here. So salute to those artists. But overall pleasurable experience. We're working on trying to set up a pod with me and Burna Boy. Whenever that happens, it will happen. Okay? All right. We're going to get into the YNW Melly Trial in a second. By the way, there's some interesting things happening. And how y'all doing today, by the way? Read the chat. Make sure y'all good. Everybody good? How my people over at Rumble doing? Y'all good? How my people over YouTube doing, man? My YouTubians. Yo, I haven't watched some FYBJ main shit in a minute, man. That nigga's too funny. I might have to play some shit today. Okay, Rumble's good. Let me check on YouTube real quick. Okay, it looked like everybody's doing pretty good. All right. What was I gonna get into? So we're about to get into the whole YNW Melly Trial, like we do when it's normally streaming, which it is today. They're back today. Interesting thing I'll give you an update about. Well, I'll talk about it when I'm talking about YNW Melly. However, do want to touch on a few things beyond that. Let me see. Somebody said do your homework. All right. Yeah, somebody says one of Melly's friends is snitching. Nigga, what is a case these days without a good snitch? All right. Few things I want to talk about. Yachty called me out. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Lil Baby and Meek Mill in the devil's threesome with this goddamn white billionaire. This nigga is loud and proud, and he's giving out drunken hugs to these guys, and he does not give a fuck when nobody cares. Actually, let me start there. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy, y'all. Now, after we caught Lil Baby, you know what I mean? Basically, in a reverse Oreo with billionaire Michael Rubin, we got some more videos that they seem to be. I'm gonna just keep it a bean. This seems like flirting. Okay. Now it started off with Lil Baby, who he was extra hyped at the attention, and he recorded the person who took the pictures of him, being in this little reverse double stuffed Oreo. This is how this video went.
We had 5 girls. She like, up, all y'all get in the shower.
Mike. Man, Mike.
I'm gonna come hug you right now. I'm coming to hug you. Big hug. Get everyone to love each other.
Now this the motherfucker who did it though. See, this the motherfucker that did it. Hey, man.
So they saying that this is the guy who took the pictures. I don't think it was the photographer's fault. I think it was your fault if you didn't like the pictures. Now, this was also wild. Watch this.
Get up, Mike. Get up.
Hold on. So Meek Mill is on the plane as well.
Don't be making fun of me when I'm drunk. You're gonna get another drunken hug tonight. I don't care what anyone says. You're getting a drunken hug.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I've never seen Lil Baby's mouth open this wide. You know when somebody say, yo, they smiling and they're all teeth? This nigga's smiling so big, he's all gums. This nigga mouth is open so wide, you can see where the veneer stop and his real teeth start. God, I've never seen Lil Baby smile this hard. What the fuck is this? I've never seen this nigga smile this hard. Now, again, I want to be very clear. Lil Baby seems to be having the time of his life. I don't want to be the nigga who's over here making him feel bad about having the time of his life. You know what I mean? Like, this nigga is very happy. They look like they're having a nice little sleepover. And by the way, this is a billionaire sleepover. You don't have you don't have a sleepover like in the crib. You have a sleepover in the jet. Seems like everybody's sharing the blankie.
You're gonna get another drunken hug tonight. I don't care what anyone says. You're getting a drunken hug. You too.
Meek must have been back to Philly recently. Meek in a defensive stance. Meek leaning to the other side. And he got to throw the pause in there. Somebody from Philly called Meek. That's a fact. Meek looked like Meek tired of the shenanigans. Meek tired of the shenanigans. Pause, man.
You two drunken hugs are coming tonight. Don't be making fun.
Damn. Watch this one, though.
Get up, Mike. Get up. Get up, Mike. Get up off me, dog. You heard me, Mike? Get up off me, man. Look, this man on my legs, y'all. Get this man. Get up, Mike. Get up off me, dog. You heard me, Mike? Get up off me, man. Look, this man on my legs, y'all. Get this man.
Damn. Grabbing this. Hey, it is what it is, man. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think partly they're having a little fun with it because everybody's talking about it. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think Meek kind of gets a little bit the optic. Again, and that's really what the issue here is, right? It's like the optics of this looks weird. Y'all are always in compromising positions. Y'all always being embarrassed. And this guy seems to, while he wants to use you guys for some social and cultural equity, he still doesn't have a problem with your image looking even crazier when he does these things. If he really cared about you, he wouldn't want you to be looking weird to your culture. Now, I get him. Some people say, no, this is white people culture. I know some white people, they don't do this, but fine. In white people culture, right, maybe this is acceptable, right? But I ain't gonna lie. And again, I know some people gonna be like, damn, this is homophobic. I don't think it's necessarily how close they are to each other as it seems it's embarrassing to the people who are in these positions. That's what I'm saying. I've never really adopted a thought about humiliation rituals until now, but for the life of me, I can't tell why two of the coolest, most thuggish, gangster rappers are basically playing grab balls and some type of erotic tag with this motherfucking billionaire. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. So, basically, it's going to continue. That's it. It's going to continue. My hope is, I hope these artists realize that if y'all thought there was no friends in this rap industry and there was no friends, if y'all niggas couldn't even continue to be friends with niggas from y'all block and y'all hoods, don't think that this billionaire just likes y'all for no reason. He sees some equity and how he could use your influence, and you should be aware of that currency transfer. Maybe you're cool with him. Again, I'm not saying they can't also just be cool too, but they're always a currency transfer. Maybe you're cool with him because you want to get into certain rooms and get certain opportunities, or I don't know, like maybe he could invest in certain shit you got going on. Completely fine, right? Completely fine. But you should be very aware of that because he's not just hanging out with you niggas because he love niggas. A white man don't go till he's 50 to start hanging around niggas. I'm sorry. Go look at Michael Rubin friends until now. White. Now, only gangster rappers. Nah, nobody does that. So, do y'all think, but you should probably check him when he's trying to constantly embarrass you. If not, fuck it. You know what I mean? Who cares? All right. We should move on. So Lil Yachty had a tweet about me. We'll react to it. So Lil Yachty sent out a tweet yesterday, and in the tweet, let me see if I could play it from the top. This was Lil Yachty in my studio told me this is before he dropped Poland and dropped all Strike and all this other shit. Nigga, he said he's in the studio with Cardi and Cardi made him change his entire style. Facts. Bro, I'm sorry. Like, once I heard that, I was like, damn, the Cardi's like that? Sorry. Bro, I'm sorry. Like, nigga, I have nothing more to say. Like, Cardi's a nigga, bro. I'm sorry. Lil Yachty in my studio. Okay. So, Cardi responded by saying, Ak, you're so insane. I didn't tell you this at all. Stop drinking, bro. I see the dick riding of YB. I said that Cardi inspired you. Don't let me say YB inspired you now. Okay. I said Tyler encouraged me to take that route. What the fuck? Now, there might be a little bit of, I'm always very accountable. There might be a little bit of a misspeaking on my behalf. But the message and my sentiment, I still stand on. Cardi. No, not Cardi. I mean, Yachty. You literally say you're inspired by Cardi, my nigga. I don't give a fuck. Who told you? That's the plain message. Okay, you weren't in the studio with Cardi. But your style got influenced. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know if the game is, the whole music industry sound like Cardi right now, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's what it is. Everybody. Cardi's influenced everybody. I'm sorry. Like, my nigga, and by the way, in this tweet, you're acknowledging kind of what my sentiment was. Okay, granted. Yeah, y'all weren't in the studio. But you basically also admitted you took that route. What route is that? It's the route that is influenced by Cardi. I'm sorry. Cardi's influenced the whole music game right now. I'm telling y'all, I don't care what y'all say. Y'all got to show me different. Because when Cardi switched his style up and started making some funky, weird music. And then everybody was like, what the fuck is this? Couple years later, everybody's doing it. I'm sorry. Everybody's doing it. We're hearing it in all of y'all. We hear Cardi in all of you. I'm sorry. I'll tell every artist that. I hear Playboy Cardi in you. All of y'all. I'm sorry. Don't sound like Cardi then. I'm sorry. And I'm not talking about a blatant ripoff. I'm just saying the creativity of Cardi has been very influential on the sound of music for everybody. So I don't know if this tweet was to not give Cardi his credit or just to correct me on, hey, I wasn't in the studio with him. All right, bet you were in the studio with him. But did Cardi inspire you? Yes or no? That's the only question that should be asked. Again, I'm just telling you what it is, bro. And it's not a Yachty thing. Nigga, it's everybody. Nigga, I'm listening. Nigga, this is how you know Cardi inspires the whole game. Nigga, just watch Rolling Loud. Just watch highlights of Rolling Loud of every newer artist or every contemporary artist on stage, and they all sound like they are doing a variation or an influenced their own style, but it seems to have some correlation with what the fuck Cardi been doing. I'm sorry. Like, are we just not gonna say this? Tell me if I'm tweaking. Let me go read the chat. Maybe I am tweaking. I don't know. I just thought that was obvious. Somebody said if I were a different nigga, I ain't wording shit different. Cardi inspired everybody in the game. Right now, we're living in a Cardi era. I'm sorry. When I listen to y'all music, I'm like, all right, let me just go turn the Cardi back on. Someone said that's not the argument. All right. Somebody said, do you see Cardi's new look? He looks like a bat. Somebody said, somebody says, read the tweet. Somebody said, nigga, read the tweet. He literally saying Tyler inspired him, not Cardi. Well, this is why I'm not even going too hard because, that was a conversation that, was off camera too. But I remember the conversation. We only talked about Cardi. Like, we ain't talk. Like, Tyler may have came up, but it was like, really, both of us acknowledged that Cardi was the fucking GOAT. I don't know how it just got switched to Tyler, but fine, Tyler. Okay, Tyler, what up? Tyler, you're dope. Not that serious. All right. Anyway, man, who cares? Here's a great thing. These are all great artists, though. You know what I mean? Like, these are all great. By the way, here's the thing. You know when I first read this tweet, what came across to me? Rappers get really sensitive about influence. Really sensitive. Because it's a constant race of who's creating this, who's creating whatever. Also, Yachty's in an interesting space now where, I mean, Drake is pretty much damn near admitting that he's influenced by Yachty. So, for all the knock that Yachty's taken over the years, Yachty's now kind of become this guy who, shit, if he could influence Drake, he's one of them, right? So, no, when people get to that position, it's like, do I really want to put out where I got Listen, the influence game is a very interesting game. That's what I'm going to say. Like, I'm pretty sure if you ask some of the guys who you know is influenced by Cardi, won't call any names, not talking about Yachty, clearly. If you ask some of those guys who are now very, very successful, right, and you say, did Cardi inspire all of this? At a certain point, they're going to be like, I fuck with him, but hold on. Like, giving up that inspiration word is almost like devaluing someone else's creativity in a sense. Or that's how a lot of artists take it. So that's why I think he kind of reacted to this. You know what I mean? But such is the case. All right. Somebody says the ego. Yeah, it's the ego thing. And by the way, like, again, just remembering that convo, bro. Again, the majority of the conversation was like, yo, Cardi's just a fucking, like, just enigma to music. Like, the nigga's just great. Like it's crazy that he just does some new shit and the fans have to catch up and they basically have to, like, not have to, but it's genius already. He doesn't follow the crowd. He does what he wants and then people catch up to it and they love it. They realize they love it. That's dope. That was the gist of the conversation, right? Now, while we were talking about that, did we mention other people kind of like that, i.e. Tyler? Yes. But, again, which, this is pre-interview, so unless I think I'm just like, you know, this whole you're drunk all the time shit. If you think I'm drunk that much pre-interview, yeah, there's props given to Tyler, but the majority of the conversation was how Cardi has changed the entire game. And all, like, we literally sat there, again, I don't want to get too much into the we sat there and named like 10 niggas that was influenced by Cardi. We never sat there and named 10 niggas that was influenced by Tyler. Like, this is the same conversation I'm remembering. Trust me, I got a good memory. So, again, the correction on, hey, me and that nigga wasn't in the studio and he didn't tell me to stay my sock, cool. Oh, no, this was just only, Tyler inspired me. I'm like, nigga, we ain't even talk about Tyler. Like that. Whatever. Okay. Somebody said Soulja Boy did. All right. Blessings and love to Yachty. You know, obviously, I love a lot of stuff. By the way, I love Yachty's two new songs. The only thing I want Yachty to stop, I want Yachty to stop encouraging Drake to fucking paint his nails. I do not like it at all. It perturbs me. You know, seeing my favorite rapper with painted nails. I don't know if he's trying to be a part of this sus boy era or whatever is going on. I don't fucking like it. They recently kind of like, I don't know, like cosplayed this out in a sense, or was joking with each other, trolling around with each other. When Yachty said, yo, boy got them heavy hangers in his ear. And I guess, I don't know, you got some studs or whatever. Yachty says, yo, get out my comments. You told me to paint my nails. So I stopped. Wait, what? Get out my comments, Yachty. You told me to paint my nails, so I stopped biting them. And now the world is being homophobic for the first time since Rich Flex, which wasn't that long ago. Now I think about it. Wait, is the world homophobic? Shaking my head. All right. Then Yachty says, Champagne Poppy. Woosah, brother. You're not supposed to have these episodes in public. It's fine. They just don't get you, bro. You're different as fuck. Okay. What do we get from that? Look like Drake is kind of saying, yo, I painted my nails because I used to bite my nails. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I know not of any method that would be to stop biting your nails, you should paint them. But that might be a thing because of me not knowing, I won't say it doesn't exist. Is that a thing? Somebody say bite your nail at 40 is gross. Well, I bite my nails. I ain't gonna lie. Now, I don't know if it's some chronic nail biting shit like some Steve Nash. You ever see Steve Nash back in the day on the bench? That nigga was biting like, he was pretty much eating his finger. I don't know if the remedy for that is just paint your nails, but maybe it is. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Bro, I'm not buying that shit, bro. I don't care what Drake said. I'm not buying that shit, nigga. I ain't buying that shit. Now, granted, I've still told y'all, I defend Drake that he's not gay. I don't think this is him. Some people want to be like, oh, this means he's gay. He's not gay. Like, no, he's not gay. But I do believe that this is a fashion choice, and this is him kind of going into this, we're in this new era where it's kind of, you could be ambiguous. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I never even thought Drake would be saying, yo, the world is being homophobic. Yo, Drake, you're a rapper who rap all about bitches and talk about who get the most bitches. Like there's a lot of your music that will come across being homophobic. But we don't see, this is hip-hop shit. Like, niggas usually don't say to each other in hip-hop, you're being homophobic, unless they're Lil Nas X. You know what I mean? So that was a little weird. Like, Drake is saying that the world is homophobic. Yo, Drake's still rapping about spinning the block on niggas. Like, am I wrong? Drake's still rapping that quasi street shit. Like, that's the last person I expect to be like, oh, the world is homophobic. I expect one of these little feelings rappers to do that. Somebody said Drake made a song called Girls Want Girls Where I'm From, and now he anti-homophobia, right? Yeah, Drake, if you're so inclusive, how about you switch it up to Boys Want Boys? Boys want boys where I'm from. Yeah. Boys want boys. Like, come on, Drake. Like, again, obviously, I know what he's kind of getting at, but we also got to be honest. Like, Drake, don't get too woke on us, gang. Don't get too woke on us. Somebody said Drake's the first feeling rapper. Yes, but feelings with relationships. Drake, this came across like some liberal type of some Taylor Swift shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just not feeling the nail polish thing. And honestly though, I would rather him speak about in a I mean, I guess he did do it in his way here. I think it's dismissive when he's like, yo, oh, y'all just being homophobic. To me, that screams, this is my explanation because this is a gateway to me doing more fuckery that's in that sus category. Like, what next we gonna see? And be like, oh, no, y'all being homophobic. No. Hey, bro, if you're just painting your nails to stop biting it, weird flex, but okay. Paint your nails to stop biting it. Cool. But it's kind of natural that we all think that was some sus shit because we don't normally see that. Straight niggas is just painting their nails. Unless they're trying to be on some artistic rock shit, I guess I don't know. You know them rappers. Trippie Redd and them. All right. Anyway, let me see what else. There's a few other things, but I hear there's a nigga telling in the case. We don't get to. By the way, this is crazy, bro. A nigga done told me that Lena has already lined up 8 other niggas to fuck her next, bro. Niggas is treating Lena like 2K My Park. Hey, yo, bro, I got next. So Kai was on the stream. He called Adam. He wanted to get permission.
Yo, my man, I got next.
Huh?
Hey, yo, my man, I got next.
You said you want next?
Nah, I said I have a good time with the best. You the best.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Hey, we doing it. Hey.
So this clip went out, and she said, "I think it's a good idea. My husband.
Hey, yo, my man.
I think it's a good idea. My husband approved." Damn. All right, man. My boy's poker face been good through all this, but I ain't gonna lie. After that tape drops, somebody said I would dead watch this. Yeah, of course I'm gonna watch the tape. Duh. Nigga, but I'm a fucked up nigga. Like, I'm not watching it for some. The reason I'm watching it is for every time she's like, "Oh, too deep." I'm watching it for that moment when it slip out and she put it back in. Yeah, the memes are gonna be great. The memes gonna be amazing. What? When he donkey fucking her, gripping her fucking throat and her face turning damn near blue, and he's saying, "Who pussy is this?" And she just say a different name other than that. I'm like, oh shit. This is a featured fucking, it's a featured film right here. I'm watching it. I don't care what I say. Somebody said, look at his last tweet. All right. By the way, this is great. This is great, like, tweet. This is great promotion for Adam. And by the way, I can't show that. What the fuck? Yeah, I couldn't show that. Yeah, I niggas was trying to get me caught up, nigga. That shit was just pure ass. I'm good. I can't show that. I believe that Adam is playing the cuck role just to. I don't think he's a natural cuck, right? Which means I don't think he enjoys this. You know what I mean? You could go back to multiple videos of before it ever happened. He said, "I don't want this to happen. I got too much money. I don't want you to fuck other guys, whatever." I think he's just caught up in the liberal progressive matrix of you have to let it's fit. Everything in life between men and women are 50-50. Well, your girl lets you fuck a lot of bitches, so you should let her fuck a lot of niggas. And I think his girl is a strong feminist. I think she runs the household. She's been telling him like, yo, nigga, I done fucked 300 bitches with you now. What's up? I need that one dick. And I think, is probably got to him a little bit. Also probably sees the financial uptake or incentive. And also the fact that it's helping to rejuvenate No Jumper. And yeah, let that shit happen. But I don't think he's a natural cuck. So I think he's acting like certain shit. Like I read a couple tweets by him, and I think he's just saying that to just get the biggest first week numbers, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? I seen him put up some shit like this. Look at this. 5 days left till everyone sees a large man vaporize my wife vagina. Okay. I think he's just trying to promote. You know what I mean? There's another guy they approved to fuck. Some nigga named Boogie. Google this nigga. Boogie. Wait. Yeah. She gonna let this nigga fuck. She gotta let Flacco fuck at this point. It's getting out of hand. Yes, Adam's done a real interesting turn with this because he's acting like he's into it now, and that makes him a cuck, quote unquote. But I don't think he is, bro. I think he just wants to get some promotion off. Which shit, do your thing, brother. And he puts up, he says, "Yo, do you think my feelings? Is this supposed to hurt my feelings? Because it doesn't. I think it's great. It's no way a man goes and switches his idea of, I don't want my wife to fuck anybody else, to now says he enjoys other niggas fucking his wife. This is just impossible to me. So I think he's acting like this, but it was a business move for her to get fucked, and it happened already. So he's got to play into the promotion. And then there was like one more I seen. This shit was crazy. Jesus Christ. Listen to this. This nigga said, gotta love my wife.
To come back to your... it wasn't hard to come back to your... I was in a lot of pain for a few days. So having sex was, you know...
It was reupholstered.
You were a little traumatized by me being like, ouch, hold on.
At first, yeah. But that did go away pretty quickly.
It took like 3 or 4 days, yeah.
Yeah. You feel like it snapped back? Well, you never had the natural birth that you were planning on.
I don't believe that vagina stretches from having once for 40 minutes with a bigger...
I mean...
it wasn't hard to come back to your... I was in a lot of pain for a few days. So having sex was...
Yeah, I don't think he's coping necessarily, man. I think he's just kind of acting just to get the promo up. Like you can't be that dense, right? Why do people keep tweeting this at me? I don't get it. Like, the only thing I would say, and I think instead of fighting the internet, he's going with the internet, right? I'm surprised that Adam would, you know, like, even when me and him were talking about it, like, I also wanted to be like, yo, all right, because I'm not trying to beef with you, my nigga. What can I say about this that isn't crossing the line, if you have a line? And I think for him was like, really anything with kids, but then this nigga just tweets out a fucking tweet with a fucking black baby in her gut, and he's supposed to be the cuck over here rubbing the gut. So I think he's removed all these boundaries just because he wants to really just sell his fucking tape, my nigga. That's just, it is what it is. Yeah, he's leaning into this shit. Yeah. He leaning all the way into this shit. This was wild. I wasn't born with the strength required to let another dude bang my wife. It takes hours and hours in the gym to gain this type of strength. Weak men will never understand. All right, you got it. Got it. I'm sticking by my prediction, though. I don't think he's enjoying it. No. But let me tell you this. Sometimes you can't fight the internet. And also, here's the thing with the internet as well. The internet hates when you start adopting, like when they're trying to clown you, if you own whatever they're trying to clown you on, all of a sudden they're like, all right, this is whack now. So I think that's what he's trying to do, but let's see if it works. Let's get into this YNW Melly shit. Apparently a cooperant has... Oh, shit. This nigga look like a cooperant. Just put a big nose on him and a fucking rat ears, and we good to go. All right, people. Let's get to some nitty gritty shit. So, I want to make sure. So this guy's a state witness, by the way. Here we go.
Prosecution violating the rule of sequestration, then it becomes the question of my client's rights to a fair trial, and that's how the analysis should go. And you're looking at those line of questions when you go to 96.16. There is another section that comes down that gives exceptions to the rule of sequestration, which we see. We have the witness's family in here. Why are they allowed in here? Because of 96.16 gives that exception. But there's case law that says when that family gets up there to testify, Mr. Demon's client rights to a fair trial will trump the other people's rights in this case. In this matter, Mr. Glass doesn't have any rights to be in this courtroom. He has no right to be watching this from TV or his testimony to the evidence. I would ask that we look at this in the light most favorable to Mr. Demons and his constitutional right to a fair trial. And that's what we want today. And it's not going to happen with a witness who's been watching this proceeding from the comfort of his home.
But the defense isn't suggesting that this was all some type of connivance with the state that they...
All right, I'm going to just get to the witness.
Either 2018 or early 2019.
Yes, I have.
And how long?
Okay, so there's a surveillance guy there. Let's get this guy sworn in. Here we go.
Welcome. This is our witness stand over here. Why don't you come to the witness stand? What I'd like you to do is remain standing. Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give in this case should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your full legal name for the record. Please spell your first and last name for the court reporter.
TREVON.
Thank you.
Please have a seat. Mr. Glass, that microphone in front of you will only adjust up or down. It doesn't move back and forth.
Yeah, I just realized.
Right, so if you could scoot up close to the microphone. All right, you ready to proceed, sir? Counsel, you may.
Thank you, Your Honor.
They got the trial mic up high, right?
Come on.
And I know you're quite soft-spoken, so I'm going to need you to speak out a little louder, okay? And remember, you have to make oral responses. Okay?
Yes.
How old are you?
23.
And where are you currently living? What city?
Real Beach.
And have you lived there all your life?
Majority of it.
Okay. You completed high school, or what was the last grade you completed?
11.
Right. You're not married, correct?
Excuse me?
You're not married?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about some prior stuff before we get into why you're here today. Have you previously been convicted of a felony? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And how many times?
By the way, I got to give out some church announcements real quick because it's happening right now. Can I get a fucking link? The tickets for our first show, it's actually available right now. So if anyone wanted to come to the first Chat Niggas show, which we have it on September 10th, please. I'm about to go to the link in a second. Give me a second. Oh, no, the tickets were available at noon, and it's like 11:59 actually. Give me a second. Yeah, I don't even know how the ticket thing looks, so. Let me see how this bitch looks. Okay, we got it. The link is in my oh, here we go. All right. Here it is. All right, cool. So the tickets are now available. You guys could, I think it's at seattickets.us/event, academics and friends or whatever. You guys could go purchase tickets if you guys want to come through. It's available in the link in my story on my Instagram pages, and also I'm gonna post a feed post with it too. But if you guys want it, it's here and it's up, so you guys can go cop it. All right, it's gonna be for September 10th, I believe. September 10th. Showtime is 7:30. It's gonna be more of a variety show, performances, comedy, really back and forth banter, but it's gonna be a good time. You get what I mean? I'm trying to bring a couple of people to pop out for me, and I think it should be at least for what y'all paying. Y'all gonna be very pleased if you do show up. All right. Anyway, just a little plug. I'll get back to this though.
To my best of knowledge, once.
Okay. If I were to show you something, would that refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
A prior judgment? Your Honor, permission to approach the witness?
Show counsel first, please.
Yes. I'm going to ask you to just look at the document, don't say anything. Okay? Have you had an opportunity to review the document?
Mm-hmm.
You have the answer?
Yes.
Right? Is your memory fresh as to how many convictions you have?
2. Or was that 1? 1? I'm not sure. Let's see, 2 charges.
All right. Now, you currently have some pending charges in Indian River County, correct?
Yeah.
And those are 2 charges?
Yeah.
Misdemeanor resisting without violence?
Yeah.
And an obstruction of service or execution of a search warrant?
Yeah.
Are those misdemeanors or felonies?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know what the penalty you're facing on those charges?
No.
Okay. Have you been offered probation in that case?
Yeah.
And have you been made any promises in exchange for your testimony here today?
No.
Right. So let's go back to October 26th of 2018. What were you doing like for work?
I wasn't working at all.
All right. Were you involved in the music business at all?
Kind of, sort of.
And how so?
Making beats.
All right. And when you were making beats, were you working with a specific group or music group or people?
One person to be particular, but yeah, supposed to be in a group.
All right. Let's start by saying this. What group was it?
YNW.
All right. And when you said one person specifically, who was that person?
Julie.
Okay. And can you tell the members of Judy's real name?
Christopher Thomas.
And how long have you known Christopher Thomas, who you refer to as Judy?
Over a decade.
Okay. And this is back in October. And did you know somebody by the name of Anthony Williams who went by Sack Chaser?
Yeah.
And how long have you known Sack Chaser?
A couple years.
All right. Your Honor, permission to approach the witness with state 73.
It's in evidence, yes?
Yes.
You may proceed.
Okay, I see some people saying that they want some clarity on who this guy is. This guy is a guy who's like a producer or like a studio engineer. So he works in a studio with artists, and obviously they start off by asking him, "Hey, listen, do you have any charges pending?" Because it's important to know, especially if a nigga is gonna be snitching. Like the jury could at least know, oh, okay, he's snitching because maybe he's lying because he got pending charges and he's trying to get out of that, right? However, he's saying his role is he got introduced, and I'm guessing he's going to further state it, to Melly, but he knew Sack Chaser. Sack Chaser is one of the guys who died, all right?
I'm going to ask you to take a look at state's photograph number 4 and state 73. Do you recognize that person in the state's photograph with the label marking 18-3118?
I do.
And who is that?
Anthony Williams.
So, back on October 26, 2018, do you recall being at the New Era studio?
Yeah.
Who were you there with?
A few other people.
Okay. Was Judy and Sack there?
Correct.
All right. And do you recall around what time you guys got to the studio?
I'm not sure when we arrived.
Okay. Was it light or dark outside?
I believe it was dark. I'm not sure.
All right. And what was the intention going to the studio?
I believe we were supposed to have a 12-hour session.
All right. And that's a 12-hour recording session, right?
Yeah.
And who was the artist that was recording that night?
Really, everybody was artists. And
All right. Did you guys end up staying for 12 hours?
nah,
Okay. What changed and why didn't you end up staying?
to the best of my knowledge, people was sleeping, so we ended up going home because, you know, sleep in the studio.
All right. And part of that is because studio time is obviously, it's costly, right?
Objection to leave.
Stay.
Okay, you just said it was paid for. What was paid for?
Studio time.
All right. So you guys had prepaid for 12 hours.
Correct.
And obviously not utilizing that 12 hours, is that a waste?
Objection, Your Honor.
Stay.
Deleting.
I'll move on. How long, well, you said that people were sleeping. Who was sleeping?
Everybody but me, Anthony, and Chris.
All right. So who was upset that people were sleeping?
Objection, leading.
Who was upset overall?
There was no testimony that anybody was upset.
Okay, rephrase your question.
Was someone upset that people were sleeping?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
And who was that person?
Sad.
Okay. And how did Zach respond? How did Zach respond to people sleeping?
You woke him up and let him know it's time to go.
All right. And how did he do that?
Yeah, he went and woke him up, shook him up.
All right. Was there an occasion where he threw water on some people to wake them up?
Objection, Your Honor.
Stay.
Your Honor, this is deliberate. Can we go
Excuse me.
sidebar, please?
Counsel, if you make an objection, make an objection. Don't be arguing in front of the jury. I told you that before.
I
all
understand.
right?
Can we go sidebar?
No speaking objections.
Can
Come
we go
sidebar. Sure.
Thank you.
Nah, the judge is tight. Again, to give you out of context, this is a guy who's close to one of the guys who died. He know the guy for over 10 years. I would imagine he knew this guy more than Melly. Now, why is he testifying? By the way, this is the first actual person that was there on that night that is testifying, and somehow the state has this person. What does that mean? It means that they're going to be given some compelling testimony to say, I don't know, they might lean to motive. Hey, listen, oh yeah, we heard them arguing before they got in the car. That would be big. The nigga might be like, yo, hey, this is the nature of their relationship, or, oh, whatever the case is. You get what I mean? Obviously, he's going to testify that Melly got in the car, but we have that on surveillance footage. But it would help drive home the point that Melly got in the car with these guys, and what's being driven home so far is these guys were tired. They're sleeping. It makes what the medical examiners say sound right. If they're sleeping in the studio and they say, all right, yo, let's leave because everybody's sleeping, they might be sleeping in the car, which would be in tune with the wounds that say that these guys were sleeping when they first got shot. Okay, at least the guy in the front. Okay, let me get past the sidebar. Here it goes.
Publishing states 72.
By the way, he hasn't said Melly's name at all yet.
I published image number 1 in state 72. Mr. Glass, can you see that photo on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. And who's that person?
To the best of my knowledge, Melly.
Okay. And the person I'm referring to, what is he wearing?
A jacket.
All right. Do you recognize the person on the other side of the photograph wearing what appears to be a black shirt?
I'm sort of.
If you do.
No, I don't.
Okay. Publishing image number 2. Do you recognize the individuals in that photograph?
2 of them, or 3 of them, yeah.
Okay, so what you can do is identify them by the clothing that they're wearing.
Jewelry, black jacket in the left, sack in the middle, jean jacket, tape, black jacket.
And Sack is he standing or sitting?
Sitting.
And Tay, is he standing or sitting?
Sitting.
And you said Portland was wearing the black jacket. Is he standing or sitting?
Who?
Oh, how did you refer to him? My apologies.
Tay.
No.
Or Julie?
The person wearing the black jacket, who did you identify that as?
Julie wearing black jacket. Also, is Tay wearing black jacket?
The person wearing the black jacket who's standing up, do you recognize that individual?
Chris.
Okay. Do you recognize the people in photograph image 3?
Same one you just showed. Same person.
And who's that person?
Really?
The 3 images that were just shown from State 72, do you recall when those photographs were taken?
Same night.
Would that be, what date would that be?
10/26.
Of 2018?
Yeah.
What location were those photographs taken in?
New Era Promotions studio.
Was that the studio we just discussed that you guys were hanging out at?
Yeah.
I'm now publishing State 7. Publishing 10/26/2018, beginning at timestamp 2/17/42. Mr. Glass, you recognize the 2 individuals in this screen pause at 2/17/47.
Do I recognize the back of their head?
Yes, do you recognize them?
I just see it back of their head.
Okay, I'm going to continue to play. Do you recognize anyone at timestamp 2/17/52?
Still back of their head.
Do you see an individual standing next to a red vehicle?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, you just said that's who?
Cool.
All right. And what is Kobe's real name?
That's what I know about Kobe.
All right. Would anything refresh your recollection as to his legal name?
I don't know.
If I were to show you your prior statement, would that refresh your recollection?
Could.
Permission to approach the witness?
You may.
Mr. Glass, if you could take a moment and look at this page, read it to yourself, do not read aloud, and look up when you're done. Has your memory been refreshed as to the legal name of Kobe?
Yeah.
And what is Kobe's legal name?
Objection. What's the objection, huh? Sorry, Your Honor.
Jacoby Mills.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Jacoby
And if you could repeat the last name for the court for additional.
Mills.
All right, I'm going to continue to publish page 7. There is a second individual at the red Mitsubishi vehicle. Do you recognize that second individual?
Not really, no.
Okay. How about the individual that is standing at the gray Jeep?
That's sad.
Okay. I'm going to continue to publish. I'm pausing at timestamp 2:18:21. Do you see that individual who's walking away from the Mitsubishi Jeep?
I see him, yeah.
Do you recognize him?
That's AD.
Okay. And again, I'm going to ask you for AD's legal name.
I know his last name, Davis.
Okay. Would looking at your statement refresh your recollection as to his legal name?
I guess so.
Honor permission to approach.
Can I have same statement?
Yes, Judge. Approaching the witness. Mr. Glass, same procedure. If you could take a look at that and look up.
We already know the name, Judge won't be the same.
No. Without speaking, has your memory been refreshed as to AD's legal name?
Yes.
Okay, what is AD's legal name?
Adrian Davis.
Continuing to publish, date 7. Mr. Glass, let me know if I need to rewind the video, but you had a chance to look at the face of the individual wearing what appears to be a white shirt and blue shorts.
It's me.
Okay. Continuing to publish. I'm pausing the video at 2:18:41. Do you see that individual carrying something across his shoulder, wearing a what appears to be a blue jacket?
Say it again?
Do you see that person on the video?
Melly!
Do you see his back, the back of the head of the person wearing the jeans jacket?
Correct.
Was that person the same person that you previously identified in state?
Sustain, rephrase it.
Okay. We previously looked in state 72 at an individual you identified as Melly.
Objection, Your
Sustain.
Honor.
One moment. Publishing state 72.
Ask and answer, Your Honor.
There's no question pending.
What's your question?
Skip a little bit.
To the best of your knowledge, yes or no?
Yes.
Identify for the record, and I know there's a video, but can you identify which vehicle you got into?
Red Mitsubishi.
And can you tell us who was in that car with you?
Kobe, Tay, and 80.
So 80, Tay, and Cody. Is that a yes?
Yes.
So that is a total of 4 people.
Correct.
And in the vehicle to the left of the screen, the Jeep, who entered that vehicle to your knowledge?
Everybody else that was there. Sir. Melly Jubilee Court.
Okay. And by my count, is that also 4 people?
Correct.
Right? And when those, okay. Continuing to publish at 219:36. I'm going to stop at 219:46. At the time you left the studio in that red Mitsubishi, where were you headed?
Supposed to be home.
Okay, and who's home?
It's Melly house.
Okay, and was everybody in that red car headed to Melly's house?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay, and what about the Jeep? Where was your understanding that that Jeep was headed? The gray Jeep?
Same spot.
So both cars left the studio with the intention of heading to what you identify as Melly's house.
Correct.
Can you tell us, I guess, what was the mood or the vibe at the studio while you guys were there?
Good question.
It's 5 years ago. Can't tell you nothing right now.
Okay, if you don't recall, that's fine. Was there any physical confrontation that you observed?
See, I can't tell if this guy is trying to snitch or he's trying to like cool snitch. Like, yeah, you're gonna get the info, but I ain't gonna really volunteer it because that's the, like, again, you're a state's witness. You could have hid. I don't know if he was. It don't seem like he was incarcerated. It looked like he walked in under his free volition, which means he wanted to be here. Okay, now maybe he's getting some type of benefit from testifying, but dog, are you here to give it up or you're not here to give it up? Because that's a very easy question, I think. If somebody died on a night 5 years ago and it was a guy you knew from 10 years, right? You knew that nigga for 10 years, he died. You tell me you don't know the vibe that night? Like, I would always remember the vibe for that night. I'll be like, damn, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, something was always off. Like, yeah, so-and-so was quiet. Oh, yeah, this nigga was arguing with this nigga. He took a phone call. He just walked outside. We ain't see him until we got in the car. Like, nothing, nigga?
Observed at the studio.
Looks like a regular day. Just studio, smoking, drink.
All right. And you just mentioned smoking. What were you smoking, specifically you?
Weed.
Okay. All right, and now the vehicles, we saw that the gray vehicle on the video pulled off first. Can you tell us where you guys, the route you guys took to the best of your knowledge?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Okay. Do you recall getting on a highway at all?
I recall being in the car while I was driving. I don't know where. I don't.
Okay. Were you awake the entire time you were in that vehicle?
I wasn't.
Okay. Do you know at what point you fell asleep?
I don't.
All right. And when you left the studio, you were awake. Is that a fair statement?
I was.
And at what point do you recall waking up, or what time do you recall the next thing you saw?
Once we came to a stop.
All right. And where did you come to a stop?
At the house gate.
And the house gate for Melly's house?
Yeah.
When you got to the house gate at Melly's house, who was inside your vehicle, the red Mitsubishi?
Same people you've seen get in the car.
All right. So by your testimony, Kobe, AD, Tay, and yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So still 4 people.
Still 4 people.
Do you recall how you guys entered the gate?
The gate was open for us.
And publishing states 47. deposited at timestamp 3:49, looks like 58.
Oh,
Do you
shit.
recognize that red Jeep? Mitsubishi?
I do.
Is that the vehicle that you left the studio in?
Yes.
And is this the guard gate you just testified to at Melly's house?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see that screenshot at timestamp 3:51:31?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see yourself inside that red Mitsubishi vehicle?
Yes.
And where are you located? Okay. And do you recall going through the gate, going through the procedure of going through the gate?
Yes.
How does you recall going through the gate, but you don't know the vibe at the studio? That's odd.
So you get through the gate. Where do you go next?
To the house.
All right. And can you tell us? You pull into the house. Is there a driveway in the house, in front of the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other cars parked in that driveway when you get to the house?
No.
All right. Do you see the gray Jeep that you left the studio with at the house?
No.
All right. So what do you do when you get out of the vehicle?
From what I remember, I went upstairs and went to sleep.
Okay. And you said upstairs. So the house is how many stories?
Couple.
Okay. So you went upstairs to where specifically to sleep?
In Julie's room?
All right. Was Juvie in his room?
Nah.
Okay. Do you recall where Melly's room was in the house?
Not upstairs.
Okay. Do you recall where it was if it was not upstairs?
I think it was like first rooms when you come in the house.
Okay. Was Melly at the house when you got there, from what you can recall?
No.
Did you see Melly at any time in the house?
No.
Right. So you go upstairs in Juvie's room, and what do you do?
Crash.
All right. Crash meaning?
Go to sleep.
Okay. At some point, do you wake up?
Yeah.
And why? Or
Phone
how?
calls, phone calls, phone calls, phone calls.
Okay. Safe to say that your phone was getting a lot of phone calls, blowing up.
Yeah.
All right. And at some point, you answer the phone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do in response to the phone calls?
I answered the one that kept ringing, and yeah.
All right. And so what do you do in response to getting that phone call?
I ended up at the hospital.
All right. Do you recall which hospital that was?
No, I don't.
Do you recall what city you were in at this point?
I was in Broward.
All right. What city? Not the county.
Miramar.
Okay. Do you know if you went to Miramar Hospital?
I don't know what hospital it was.
Okay. So you get to the hospital. What do you find out when you get to the hospital?
That Anthony and Christopher was deceased.
Okay. And obviously at that, well, let me not say obviously, but at that point in time, what do you do? Or how do you react to that news?
Grieving.
Okay. Do you stay at the hospital?
Not long.
Right. Where do you go after the hospital?
I ended up somewhere. Somebody's house.
All right. Do you recall whose house that was?
I don't know whose house it was, but I ended up there.
All right. Let's start with the city. Do you recall what city that house was in?
Miramar.
All right. Do you recall if it was in the same or different area than where Melly's house was?
It looked similar.
Okay. And just to clarify, was it the same or different house than Melly's house?
Different.
Okay. Where did you go when you went to that house?
What you mean?
Like, where in the house did you go? So you go to the house, where do you go?
I went inside the house, I was in the back.
Okay. And would...
Somebody made a great point. They say, yo, I don't know why old boy sounds so aggravated when he's the one who all of a sudden offered to testify after he caught a case. Like, he seemed like he don't want to be there, but it's like, nigga, you don't got to be there. They're not forcing you to be there. Whatever case you done caught, nigga, go do your time and fight that with your lawyer. But clearly you're trying to leverage you testifying to get some type of, relief in that case. Don't be in here huffing and puffing, nigga.
Your statement reflects your recollection as to whose house you were at?
Maybe.
Your Honor, permission to approach. I'm going to show defense counsel the same statement. Page 4.
Same procedure, Mr. Glass. If you could just review page 4.
See nothing about the house.
If you could just read the entire page, and when you're done, let me know. As to whose house you were at?
Still don't see nothing about no house in there.
Okay. I'm going to now show you what's in evidence. It states 62. Do you recognize the individuals in state 62?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Who are those individuals?
Melly and another dude, Fredo.
Okay. You said Melly and another dude, Fredo?
Yeah.
Do you know Fredo's name and or any nicknames?
That's all I know about him.
Fredo?
Do you recall ever going to Fredo's house?
Just that time.
And just that time being what time?
After I left the hospital.
Okay. So this... And for the record, what is Fredo wearing in the photograph?
I'm wondering. By the way, I apologize. I know somebody like, yo, shut the fuck up. We just want to hear the thing. I'm wondering how much did prosecutors try to get Fredo Bang to come in, right? By the way, the driver isn't necessarily compelled to testify. They're going through a whole thing right now where the driver is basically saying, yo, I can't testify because if I testify, it's going to be, I'm going to just invoke my Fifth Amendment right, which is, the right to not incriminate myself. He's also charged with accessory to murder. So he doesn't have to testify in this case, so they can't force him. Obviously, Melly's not going to take the stand. You know who they would really want to testify? The guy who allegedly picked up Melly. Fredo Bang. Fredo Bang could be like, hey, they would ask him like, hey, did Melly have blood on him? What did Melly tell you happened? Obviously, it doesn't look like he's going to take the stand. He's nowhere to be found, actually. Well, nowhere to be found in court. I'm wondering what steps they went through trying to force him to, testify.
Sure. Watch it.
Okay. So after the hospital, you went to Fredo's house?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay. And what were you doing at the house?
Still grieving.
Okay. Who took you to the hospital?
The cameraman,
Okay, do you recall his name?
Drew.
All right. And do you recall who took you from the hospital to Frito's house?
Same person.
All right. And before you left for the hospital, or actually, who went to the hospital with you and Drew?
Just Drew.
Okay. Who was at the house, Melly's house, before you left for the hospital?
Same people that was there when we got there.
Okay, and same people being the 4 people that entered the Mitsubishi?
Yes.
Okay. So you're at Frito's house. You mentioned, and I forgot exactly where you were in the house. Did you say where you were?
Drew was wrong.
Oh, no, not Melly's house. Frito's house. Where were you in Frito's house?
Outside.
Okay. And who was at Frito's house when you first got there?
Everybody that was in the house.
Okay. And it's because I don't know who everybody was or is, can you please specify?
Kobe, Melly. I'm on people I can remember.
Okay. Was that the first time you saw Melly after you guys left the studio?
Yeah.
Was Melly wearing the same clothes or different clothes than when you saw him at the studio?
It was a new day. Nah, he wasn't.
Nah, he wasn't. You guys
He wasn't wearing the same clothes.
Okay. Do you recall what he was wearing?
Just had on some shorts.
And how long did you stay at Frito Bane's house?
I don't know.
All right. Minutes, hours, days?
Could be minutes, could be hours.
Okay. So not days?
Not even a day.
Okay. And so when you got to Frito's house, was it light or dark outside?
It's light.
And you previously said yourself and Melly and someone else was at Frito's house. Was Frito there as well?
I think I did see him. I don't remember.
Okay. What happens while you're there? Like you're there, you're outside, what happens?
Grieving.
Okay. And you're grieving, are you grieving alone?
Yes.
Are you at the house, at any point in time, do more people come to the house or do people leave the house?
If they did come, I don't know. I was in the back.
Okay.
I was back there breathing.
Hey, so I guess that's the compelling part of his statement, right? Yo, he's saying that Melly, who magically disappears when the car leaves, he's not in the car when the car shows up at the hospital with the guy's dead. Melly somehow gets to Fredo Bang's house. Obviously, through GPS and everything else, they realize Fredo Bang picks him up. So he sees Melly after the hospital fiasco, and Melly's just wearing shorts. He has different clothes on. Is that snitching? Well, some people would probably say him taking a stand at all is snitching. So,
at any point in time, did Melly leave Frito's house?
It came to a point when I was there by myself.
All right. So you were there by yourself. So the people that you previously said were there were no longer there, correct?
Right.
And so do you know where they went during that time?
I don't.
All right. And we're still talking about October 26th of 2018, correct?
Yes.
And this would be shortly after the hospital?
Yes.
All right. At some point, does Melly come back to Frito's house?
Around this time, I'm still grieving and getting a little, I don't know, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Melly comes back.
Yeah, I guess they did come back.
Right.
I don't know, I'm not sure.
Okay. And at some point, does Melly leave again, a second time?
I don't remember anything farther after that.
All right.
Me grieving. That was the last thing I remember was me grieving. And I ended up in Gifford.
All right. So before you end up in Griffin, if I were to show you a statement, would that refresh your recollection as to Melly leaving and coming back a second time?
I suppose so.
Under permission to show him his statement again?
Yes, Councilman.
Mr. Glass, I'm going to give you page 5 and page 6. If you can take a look, you can start in the middle and review those pages and look up when you're done. Are you done? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Did that refresh your recollection?
Somewhat.
Okay, so tell us what you somewhat remember.
I just did.
If you recall, you said you weren't sure, you went to Gifford, and then I asked you if your statement would refresh your recollection. Does your statement refresh your recollection as to whether Melly left again?
I'm not sure if they left. I was grieving.
Okay.
I'm not sure what nobody did. I was grieving.
All right. You mentioned, well, not you mentioned, let's see. I pointed out to you someone was, the person that was wearing the jacket that you identified as Melly was carrying something across his side or his back on the video. Do you recall seeing that?
I guess.
Okay. Do you recall what that's referred to?
That's actually.
Okay. Can it also be commonly referred to?
Objection.
Sustained.
Are you familiar with the term man?
Objection.
Why don't you come sidebar?
Do you know what was in that satchel?
I don't.
Okay. Do you recall seeing anyone else with a satchel that night at the studio?
It was 5 years ago. I don't recall.
Okay. Is there anything that can refresh your recollection as to whether or not anybody else was wearing a satchel?
I suppose so.
If I were to show you the video again, would that refresh your recollection?
I suppose so.
Okay. Publishing Suite 7. I'm going to start publishing stage 7 at 2:19:01. I'm going to pause at 2:19:13. Does the video refresh your recollection as to anyone else that was carrying a satchel?
Yes.
Who, if anyone, was carrying a satchel?
I see Chris for one.
And that's Christopher Thomas.
Yes.
Did you ever have any business relationship with a person I refer to as Track?
No.
Okay. Do you know who Track is?
Not really.
Not really, or
I don't know who he is at all.
do you know of him?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see Track on October 26, 2018 at any point?
No.
Do you recall giving a statement, specifically the statement that I've previously provided you with here today, to the detectives in this case? You have to answer out loud.
Yes.
That was a statement that you gave to Detective Moretti and another detective, I believe from Indian River. Is that correct?
Could be.
Do you recall in that statement giving a different response when asked?
Same.
Would showing you that statement refresh your recollection as to anything regarding your interactions with Track on October 26, 2018?
I don't know Track.
No. My question was, would showing you the statement refresh your recollection as to any time you saw Track on October 26 of 2018?
No.
Okay. One moment. You said you ended up back in Gifford at some point in time on October 26th of 2018?
Yes.
And do you recall where Melly was at the time you went to Gifford?
I don't remember.
Was at some point at Frito's house, you guys all leave, meaning you, yourself, everyone that you previously identified was there?
Objection, I don't recall.
You don't recall leaving?
I don't recall leaving with anyone. I don't know when I left. I don't know how I left.
Okay. Just to clarify my question, so you mentioned you left. When you left for Gifford, was anyone else at Frito's house?
I don't know.
Do you recall Melly making any statements in your presence while you were at Frito's house?
I don't recall.
Would showing you your statement refresh your recollection as to anything Melly told you while you were there?
I don't recall being told anything, so no.
Okay. You mentioned when they left the first time, you recall them at least leaving one time. Did you recall if when they came back there were any statements regarding where they went?
Sustain.
No,
Sustain objection.
don't answer that. So you remember them leaving the house at least once, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, when they came back, do you recall any conversations that Melly had in your presence that first time, after the first time?
I don't recall.
Would showing you your statement refresh your recollection as to those statements?
No, it would.
All right. Did you have a Facebook page back in October 26th of 2018?
I believe so.
On approaching council, what's been pre-marked is states quadruple I. Previously shown. Wish to approach the witness?
You may.
Mr. Glass, do you recognize these two pages that I'm showing to you?
Yes, sir.
And is this a Facebook, these statements reflect a Facebook conversation?
They do.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of that conversation that you had on Facebook?
It is.
Right. Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to introduce within pre-martial stage quadruple I as the next numbered exhibit.
No objection.
I'm sorry?
No objection, Your Honor.
It will be admitted.
States quadruple I will be marked states 83.
Permission to publish?
You may.
Mr. Glass, can you see that document in front of you?
Yes.
All right. Where it says author, can you read that for the members of the jury?
You want me to read it?
If you can read that, what does it say next to author?
Fargo.
What does it say before Fargo?
Fetty Fargo.
Okay, do you see where it says Fetty Fargo?
Let's see.
Okay, and who's Fetty Fargo?
It was me.
Okay, so was that your kind of, was that a, how you identified yourself on Facebook?
Kind of, sort of.
And who were you having this conversation with?
Right now, I look like I'm talking to myself. I
Okay.
look like I'm texting myself. I don't know who I sent it to.
Do you see where it says participants?
Okay. So, chasing Melly.
Okay. And that was page 1. I'm going to now publish page 2. I'll publish it in part since it's a little small. Can you see that in front of you?
Yes.
Great. I'm going to scroll up. What was the purpose of you having this conversation with Melly, Jamel Denman?
I don't know. Just everything was questioned.
When you got to Gifford, were you looking for answers?
Not just me.
Okay. Were people kind of pressing you for answers?
Correct.
And did that have any impact in whether or not you reached out to Melly?
I don't know what you mean by that.
So, and again, you said that people were looking for answers. So, did you reach out to Melly looking for answers?
I did.
Is that the gist of that conversation on Facebook?
Is that just the
The
conversation?
gist of the conversation, was that the purpose behind the conversation and the general conversation that you had with him?
Yes.
Random moments to confer. Do you know who Jamie King is?
I don't know who she is. I know of.
Okay, you know of Jamie King. Do you know how she's related to Jamel Denman?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
Do you know her relationship?
Mom. Supposed to be his mom.
Okay. Do you know if Jamie King and Anthony Williams had any?
Objection leading.
I wouldn't know none of that.
Rephrase your question.
Do you know the relationship between Jamie King and Anthony Williams?
I don't.
If I were to show you a copy of your statement, would that refresh your recollection?
Nope.
And one moment to confirm. Nothing further at this time.
Counsel, thank you. Is there any cross-examination this witness?
Yes, sir. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Glass. Your Honor, would you mind if we move the monitor from in front of the witness's face?
I don't mind. I mean, I mind.
Would you mind, Your Honor?
I don't mind. Is there a specific issue that you have, Mr.
I do. I do.
So,
Oh, he not trying to get seen in court. Ah. He said, I do. I do. You don't get seen on the stand.
sidebar? Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you step out for a second? Don't discuss the case. Don't form any opinion about the case. Don't allow anyone to discuss the case concerning no research.
Let's see what's here. It's muted up.
On this side of my face and show.
Councilman Man, one with the defendant, and assistant state attorneys. So, Mr. Glass, I don't understand. What's the issue?
On this side of my face and show whenever the scene. Because I'm blind in my left eye, I'm trying not to.
So you don't see out of your left side?
Correct.
Left eye?
Correct.
So, so my thought is, let's try this. Can we, Gary, can you do me a favor? Just move the monitor for a second.
Just move it out of the way.
Can you do that?
I could do that too. But if I, as far as this goes,
No, I'm not asking you to detach anything. How much do you put it down?
that's just here.
All right. So, Mr. Glass, is that all right?
Just your courthouse.
Okay. So we can proceed like that. I think that works for everybody. So they show you pictures and things like that. You have to be able to see the monitor too. You understand, Mr. Glass? All right, we ready to proceed?
Yes.
All right, bring jury back in, see if they're ready.
All right. They took a recess. We're behind, so we'll just catch back
My
up.
brother called me and was concerned, that's all.
Did you have a conversation?
Here we go.
Judge, I think the only individual who would not be allowed to speak with would be myself and Ms. Smith, so I think that should be the extent of the inquiry.
Thank you. Mr. Glass? All right, you're looking at me now. All right, thank you. I wasn't here. I left the office, left the bench to come. We're in recess, came back in, and counsel suggested to me that you're on the phone and you read something and you're discussing something on the phone. Is that true?
It's true.
Yes, so did it have anything to do with this case?
Not at all.
So was it some other business or?
So it's me texting. So,
You were texting? Were you texting about the case?
not about it.
What were you texting?
Texting saying that this wild shit wild. That's all I said.
I didn't hear you.
I said things are wild. That's all I said.
Things
It's
are wild.
It's wild.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. And did you have a conversation with someone?
My brother called me and was concerned, that's all.
Concerned?
Yeah.
Concerned about what? Did he say?
Concerned about who I'm here with and how I got here.
Okay. And anything about the case, facts of the case, your testimony, anything like that? Thank you. All right, so are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stay ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right, can we proceed? The jury's ready?
Yes, sir. You thought it looked like you were talking to yourself because you were the only one typing. There were no responses, at least on the first page, correct?
Objection to counsel testimony.
Sustained.
There are no responses to this.
Wait, let me read some of these messages. So this is him sending messages to Melly. And he says, I ain't believe shit, but what you tell me, nigga. Just these crackers got everybody mind wondering, do you not know what the fuck they saying? Come on. And he says, I ain't never gonna see my niggas again. Y'all niggas got stories fucked up. I don't know no more. Come tell me real nigga shit. Tighten up, real talk. And with all this texting shit, pull up and tell me something. Fuck you mean my mama hurt. Said, fuck you mean my nigga, my mama, well, no. Fuck you mean my nigga, mama hurt. She just want to hear from y'all boys. Hope you come. If not, I'm on everybody's ass. I put that on everything, nigga. Okay.
So your text on this first page?
No.
On the second page, the state was discussing that essentially you were inquiring of Mr. Demons Melly what had gone on because you were trying to get information, right?
Yeah.
And you see a conversation here where you get a response. I'm going to direct your attention to that statement. It says, I show them niggas more love than their parents. Right? You see that?
I see it, bro.
Okay. Thank you. And the next statement by the next message in sequence is again from Melly, and it says TF. What does that mean?
You tell me.
Okay. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay. So you were having a conversation and you didn't understand the response.
I don't know what TF means.
Okay. You didn't understand that response. Correct?
Just said it.
Okay. And then there's another one that says, man, tell them fuck that. If they think I did some shit like that, we can go to war. Nigga, you know I would never do nothing like that. See that?
That's it.
Okay. So, State had mentioned that you got arrested recently and charged criminally. Correct?
Correct.
And on May 30th, not too long ago, of this year.
Yeah.
And one of the charges that was made against you was obstruction of the service of the execution of a search warrant. You're aware of that?
I am now.
Pardon me?
I am now.
Okay. So you got charged and you had no idea what you were charged with?
Correct.
Okay. And you are now out on pretrial release?
I bonded out, sir.
Okay. And while you were on bond, you are of the opinion that if you don't come here,
I'll be in jail.
Objection, Your Honor, apology.
That's the only reason I am.
Excuse me. What happens is when they make an objection, just wait before you answer. Objection, notice overrules. Proceed.
Gotcha.
you're of the impression that if you don't come here and sit in that chair and testify, you're going to go to jail.
Correct.
Okay. There are several instances in which Ms. Smith, prosecutor, that questioned you, showed you a statement that you previously gave. Remember that?
Yes.
And you told us you remember seeing me in a deposition not too long ago.
I said what?
You remember seeing me last week on Friday?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. And you recalled at the time that your statement to the detectives was a few days after the incident.
You say, do I recall?
That's what your recollection was at the time.
Yes.
A couple of days after.
A couple of days after.
And now after seeing the statement, you realize that it was 4 months later, right?
You say what?
The statement you gave to police. That you're
telling me it was 4 months?
It was 4 months. Pardon me?
You telling me or asking me?
I'm asking.
That don't make sense. For you to ask me if I told you it was 3 to 4 days after they died, why are you asking me if it was 4 months if I just told you?
Okay. So, in the statement that you gave to...
Yo, this is like an aggressive snitch. Like, what's up with this guy, man? This guy, like, he's trying to, like, see, like even this demeanor. What's up with this nigga, man? It's the hostile cooperating right here. What's going on, man?
Police back then, you claimed that you had gotten into the red vehicle in the rear seat, right?
It's 5 years ago. To the best of my knowledge, yeah, that's what what I said.
You're saying the statement was a few days after, right?
What did you tell?
The statement that you gave to the police was a few days after the incident?
Yes.
And you said then that you had gotten into the rear of the red vehicle?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And then you watched this trial unfold on TV over the last couple of weeks, right?
No.
You didn't watch any of this trial?
I watched it, but I didn't watch it unfold or whatever you're trying to say.
Okay. You watched this on TV, this trial?
On my phone.
Okay. And you saw a video of yourself get into the red vehicle, right?
Correct.
And you learned that the statement that you gave a few days after the incident was wrong.
Because I said I was in the back and I was in the front.
Yes, exactly that.
That piece.
Yes, that piece.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, so your recollection had begun to fail you only a few...
Yo, I can't tell if this nigga, like, whose side is he on? I thought he was on Melly's side low-key a little bit because he was kind of like a little mouthy to the prosecutor. But nigga, he looked like he on Devious Time and now. Or maybe I wasn't seeing his face before. Now seeing his face, this nigga just look untrustworthy.
A few days after the incident,
Objection.
as regards that issue, at least.
Objection to counsel testifying, Mr. Patrick.
You forgot where you sat in the vehicle a few days after.
Objection to counsel testifying.
Overruled.
We can answer.
Answer what?
That question. Is that correct, sir?
Did I forget?
Did you forget?
Or did I have made a mistake and say I was in the back and remember that I was in the front?
So when you told the law enforcement officers that you had gotten into the back of the vehicle a few days after the incident?
That's what I thought. To the best of my knowledge.
That's what you thought. Okay. And when you got to Melly's house that morning, you had a key?
Did you have a key?
No, I didn't. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Who had a key?
I don't know.
You know of anybody having a key to Melly's house?
I don't know.
Okay. But you did gain entrance to that house that morning when you were leaving after you left the studio?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said you just went and crashed and went to sleep in Judy's room. Right?
Factual.
Okay. And you were awakened by your friend Drew.
I did not say that.
Were you awakened by your friend Drew?
I said I was awakened by phone calls.
Okay. On February 26th of 2019, when you actually gave your statement to law enforcement, do you recall this question and this answer?
Objection, improper impeachment.
Sustained.
On that day, you told the police that Drew woke you up.
Objection, improper impeachment.
Sustained.
I don't recall.
Excuse me, I sustain the objection.
Okay. On your unmerited reproach?
Sure.
Did you ever make a statement differently where you claimed that you were awakened by Drew?
Objection, counsel testifying to proper impeachment.
Overruled.
If you, this is like a meme right here. It's like a definitely a meme. Hey, it feels like this guy, like, you know, obviously was really good friends with one of the guys who died. Maybe he's on some fuck Melly shit. You get what I mean? Like, seems like he's close with the guy's family as well. And you got to imagine everybody got to choose sides, right? So again, the family of the deceased believe Melly did it. So you can't really play both sides. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to be still cool with Melly and I'm going to be cool with the family or have sympathy for the family, because the family's saying, nigga, the person who took our son or our brother or cousin away is the nigga on trial. So I don't know if maybe he's not on Melly's side, but I don't get what this testimony is for then.
Do you understand the question, sir?
I don't even remember getting asked a question.
All right, restate your question.
Did you ever make a statement to the police?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall now being asked this question and giving this answer?
Objection to improper impeachment.
Overruled.
Question by the detective. Then, and so when you first saw Drew, when did you see him? Where did you see him at? Your house or Fredo's house? Answer, at the house in Miramar. At Melly's house. Okay. He woke me up. It was like, come to the hospital. You said that.
I don't recall.
Don't recall, okay. When we spoke to you last week, you said you were awakened by phone calls from Christopher Thomas's mom, right?
Plenty of phone calls.
Pardon me?
Different people.
Different people. And the one that you answered was Ricky? So you were awakened by a phone call from Ricky?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay. So as you recall it today, Ricky is the one that woke you up with phone calls, not Drew that woke you up in person.
Correct.
Okay. So you smoke a lot of marijuana, right?
Possibly.
Well, you smoke it anytime you get a chance, I think is how you phrase it.
It's your answer, yeah.
That was your answer.
I smoke when I smoke.
You smoke when you smoke?
Yeah.
And when's that?
When I smoke.
And when would that be?
When I smoke.
How many times a day?
Objection to asked and answered.
Overruled.
Twice, 3 times, maybe.
Okay. And on the night before you got to the studio, on the day in question, you had smoked at least 2 joints, right?
That's your guess?
That's what you said, right?
I don't recall.
Okay. And when you got to the studio, you were smoking, correct?
Possibly.
Were you or weren't you?
It was 5 years ago.
You forget?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you were drinking Hennessy, I believe? Or do you not recall that either?
It's possible.
Possible. But you don't recall?
I don't.
Okay. So you don't recall much from that night, do you? Right? Fair?
Right.
Okay. And when you got in the red vehicle and left, you went to sleep in the vehicle when you left the studio, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't wake up until you got to the guard gate.
I woke up when we came to a stop.
You did not wake up until you got to the guard gate. Am I right or wrong?
I woke up when we came to a stop.
Okay,
Which was at the guard gate, yes.
Okay. One moment. With respect to your daily, right? You never seen Melly with a gun.
Objection, Your Honor.
Stay.
Move to strike.
Yo, somebody said ever since they moved the damn monitor, this nigga just don't give a fuck no more.
Here's your last question.
Have you ever seen Melly with a gun?
Objection, Your Honor.
I sustain the objection.
Have you ever seen him track with a gun?
Possibly. Yes. Maybe. Maybe so.
You don't know of any friction between Melly and Anthony Davis at any time, Anthony Williams at any time?
Not that I know of.
And you don't know of any friction between Melly and Christopher Thomas at any time?
Not that I know of.
And you don't know of any friction that occurred at the studio that night that would cause anybody to get murdered.
Same.
You didn't see any friction executed that night of any magnitude?
I did.
You did?
I didn't.
Okay, you did. With respect to your daily marijuana regimen, did you smoke before you came here today?
I did not.
Okay. I have nothing. Thank you.
I should have.
Counsel, is there any rebirth?
One moment, Your Honor.
Sure, this thing got dope.
Thanks, Dan.
Mr. Glass, did you live in Broward County back in October 2018?
I did not live here.
Okay. When did you come in relation to this incident to Broward County?
I was picked up probably, I don't know, I was picked up on the weekend or something like that.
So how would you, I guess, date how long you were here prior to the incident? Time frame.
3 days, 2 days?
Okay. So you were not a full-time resident of Melly's residence?
I was not.
Okay. Nothing further.
Is this witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. You are excused. It's 12 o'clock, so ladies and gentlemen, why don't we take our election recess now? It looks like it's a little after 12. Remember the admonition, do not discuss the case, don't form any opinion about the case, don't allow anyone to discuss the case in your presence. And certainly no research, we'll see everybody back at, let's say, 1:30. All right? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Keep those heads on cheers.
All right, and that was an intermission. Let me see whenever they're back. They should be back almost soon.
You can take a look for it. Yeah. It's supposed to be in the group.
All right.
Want to testify. He does not want to be perceived as a snitch, and his statements must have something very helpful in them. In those statements, that's why they keep trying to refresh his memory. This witness is pretty savvy, saying that the statements are not going to help him recall, so that information is not getting in. I think the prosecution is being optimistic, hoping they could get this evidence in, but they're not looking like they really can't. They're using him for what they can, but he's not bringing what they want him to bring, clearly.
Mm-hmm. Terry, our next question is from @Robin_Deshant, I think, from Twitter. One simple question. Why does he, and I think she means Melly, she just says he, seem so happy to be there?
Well, I don't think he's very happy to be here. I think it's an opportunity for him to be out of prison. Remember, he has been in jail since the very beginning. He is not on house arrest. And so I definitely think it gives him an opportunity to see his family, to be outside of the prison that he's there, the jail that he's in. And so, you know, he might be laughing at times and he might be smiling at times, but I don't take it as he's happy to be here. This is a death penalty case. I am certain that the severity of this crime is weighing on his mind, and the results of the case is a very serious, you know, situation. And I'm certain, and I've seen him be very pensive as well. So if you see him smiling, it's just because, you know, he's talking to his attorneys. That's my impression in any event. I think his demeanor now is not as jovial as it might have been in the beginning.
All right. We're gonna wait for it to come back a bit. Let me see. This just kind of happened. Apparently, Herbo was locked up for a gun. I'm telling you, man, catching a gun charge in Chicago is like a rite of passage. You feel me? They give you a slap on the wrist. They probably give you a 30-round clip, maybe even a drum, and they make sure, you know what I mean, they give you a pistol and send you back on your way. Herbo was actually busted for gun possession in Chicago. You got to imagine it's probably easy for them to predict who has a gun in Chicago. Everybody, you know what I mean? And they probably also look at it like, if you got something to lose, why wouldn't you have a gun? Now, I believe that Herbo might be a felon. I'm saying might, but I don't know for sure. Regardless, let's read the TMZ story. Herbo has a new heaping of legal trouble after Chicago cops arrested him on Sunday evening in connection with a gun bust, TMZ Hip Hop has learned. By the way, interested to know, I know some of y'all would be like, yo, ain't Herbo rich? Why is he still in Chicago? I can imagine he got family there. Not too sure if the mother of his kids still live there, but clearly, you know, he has a lot of ties to Chicago. He has to go there at some point, right? They say law enforcement sources tell us that Herbo, anytime you see this, that means there are paid paid off cops within the precinct that's getting paid off by TMZ, which is crazy, but it is what it is. Law enforcement sources tells us that Herbo was busted around 5:45 p.m. near North Wabash Avenue and East Ontario Streets, where cops said they found a gun. Herbo's Chi-Town fans will recognize those streets as he frequently mentions them in his songs. According to cops, he was arrested and booked for a misdemeanor unlawful use of a weapon in a public place. Wow. On a misdemeanor? How is there a misdemeanor use of a weapon? Let me look up this charge. What the fuck does this mean? I'm guessing use of a weapon would mean shooting a gun. How is that a misdemeanor? Let me see if I can find it for Illinois. Nah, this is a felony though. Okay, what is misdemeanor? Here it goes. A person charged with unlawful use of a weapon for FOID card or character will likely be charged with as long as first instance. What the fuck is it though? I don't know. Anyway, all right. We're told that Herbo has since bonded out and will have to appear in court at a later date, which could cause the rapper some setback to his rap career. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think these are light charges. He'll be fine. By the way, the charge I thought he was gonna have some problems with was this fraud case. This was a Fed case that he was busted for. They claimed that there was a lot of fraud happening in his circle, that people were paying for private jets, vacations, basically with like stolen credit cards and shit like that. And essentially they were using him being the face of it, like, yo, well, he's the rapper, so he's getting money to kind of not, because if you see a broke nigga getting a private jet, you're like, bro, where'd you get the money? If it's G Herbo getting a private jet, you're like, oh, he's paying for it with his rap money. This case, I forgot what happened to, but I think that I think he got like probation or some shit for it. I forgot what happened to him, but he's definitely not going to jail. So if he could beat this case, a little gun charge in Chicago, come on, man. It's like a jaywalking ticket. In other news that's also going on right now too, yo, my boy Jamie Foxx is just back. Like, he just popped up back on the scene. I don't know if you guys have seen it recently, but he's at Top Golf now. Look. This is a good video because if he's at Top Golf, you know, golfing requires a lot of range of motion from swinging to also puts certain type of torque and whatever on your calf and ankles. So if he could be at Top Golf, like hitting golf balls, like shit, maybe this motherfucker is really all the way fine. Now, I think people want to hear him talk, right? We haven't heard him talk. People like are assuming he had a stroke, and some people say when you have a stroke, sometimes it could impair your physical ability or even your speech. So, you know, I think the physical ability part looks kind of decent because he's, you know, the first one I'd seen was him on a yacht, but he wasn't standing up. So I was like, maybe he can't really walk all the way because he was sitting down. This is this video. Yeah, it looks fine to me. Apparently he was with his family, but he was sitting down. So I'm like, all right, maybe, you know, he is out of the hospital, as some people were wondering. You know, the information about this whole Jamie Foxx shit been so spooky. Other people also have surmised that they say, and again, this is a legend. I don't know this to be true, but they say Jamie Foxx is known for throwing some of the wildest parties known to man. And they said if you listen to him storytelling, he tells you about these wild ass parties, and sometimes there'll be a lot of narcotics there. So a lot of people believe that he has taken drugs over the years and maybe they finally got to him or some shit like that. That's what some people were thinking. We still don't know what the hell happened to him. It looked like, I guess, if somebody said a stroke, I would probably accept that, but it's like, we still don't really know. Anyway, a little bit more of the video up from him playing, or him at Top Golf.
May I have your attention, please? We want to thank you for coming out tonight. It's the last call at Top Golf. This means we would be great.
Yeah, he's chilling. He's chilling. I'll read the story. He's back. He hitting up Top Golf over the weekend. He was in Naperville, Illinois, around 11 p.m. and the swing says it all. The club in hand, he has a firm grasp and full range of motion, as I was saying. They say his swing was better than the people he was competing with, and they said he has a very strong swing, and he won. It said beyond that, he was walking around chatting with friends and family. The eyewitness says he was walking regular, not dragging his leg. There was arm movement, definitely good. He said it was regular Jamie. They said the Top Golf driving range is near the rehab facility that he was been recovering from since the medical emergency. I don't know, man. Maybe he went to LeBron James' doctor, man. Don't LeBron James got like some miracle doctor that every time LeBron James gets some injury, like he be having that nigga transfer some blood. Kobe went to that nigga too. Transfer some blood, get you back up like in 2 days. I don't know. The only reason why I think there's a lot of spookiness too when it comes to this is when we think about Hollywood, you know, and Jamie Foxx is like almost the epitome of like being in that Hollywood life. We just think about a lot of spookiness that kind of comes with it. And I think that's why people are fearing the worst. But clearly he's back up, one of the most talented individuals in the game. Hopefully he'll hit the big screen soon or the fucking comedy stage or the hosting stage or maybe get back to music. But regardless, he's an amazing talent, and I'm glad he's okay. All right. Somebody said, you think he's cloned? Man, y'all niggas in this clone shit, man. Y'all niggas in this clone shit. Other shit that's going on, man. Yo, it's so crazy. Like, this is my perception of Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer, I don't see Keke Palmer as a thought. Okay? I seen her as one of the good girls who finally get to be outside a bit. You get what I mean? She's not a city girl. She's not one of those. Now, here's the difference. When Keke Palmer had her opportunity to be serenaded by Usher, like, she was giving it all up. You get what I mean? Super embarrassing to her current boyfriend. And even her boyfriend even pointed out that even her dressing or her clothes that day was just even embarrassing just to the family, just the fact that they got kids. Now, it's kind of interesting because I looked at Keke Palmer as a good girl, but maybe I don't know her that well. So I would think she would behave better than these other women who we're going to see next. Sweetie, self-proclaimed icy girl. She's all about the icy girl summer. You know what I mean? Basically, she promotes thought activity, thought behavior to her fans. She tells them, fuck on rich niggas, scam rich niggas. As long as it's a rich nigga, you should just give your pussy up. That's really her whole like thing. You know what I mean? However, she's dating YG these days. And if you don't know, YG's an infamous blood out of California. And she went to the Usher show in Las Vegas. Now, you got to understand, this Usher show in Las Vegas is super interactive. He's not only on that stage, he's walking around with a mic. You know what's happening? Because it's a residency, a lot of celebrities in town, they're stopping by. They're getting tickets. So he's showing love, and it kind of makes make the shit pop even more. People have been saying he earns every... I'm going to look up, you know me, I'm a pocket watch. I got to see how much he's really getting. But everybody keeps saying he earns every fucking penny. Like, the show is that good. Now, granted, here's the thing. He's of the underage child that has to be kept under seal. He's a legendary R&B singer, right? And, yeah, most women or most people grew up on his music, and now they get a chance to be up close and personal with it. Now, I wouldn't suggest you bring your girl to his show, especially if your girl's a fan. Not this type of show. Wait till it's one of them arenas where she could sit in her seat and watch him on stage. Here, shit. He might be over here like playing with her hair, singing in her face, your girl giving him the googly eyes, all that type of shit. That's what type of shit it is. So Sweetie, who's with YG, she gets put to the test. But you could tell when you got a gang-banging nigga as your boyfriend and you don't want to get the beats, you act a little bit different, okay? Sweetie understood the assignment, and I got to give Sweetie some props because I do tell her when she's wrong. I think she dealt with this fantastically. You know, Usher trying to get her to, like, you know what I mean, take her bra and panties off. Usher a freaky nigga. You get what I mean? Trust me. Usher had Keke basically damn near wishing for herpes. You know what I mean? Sweetie, she kept her composure a little bit, I think. But soon as you come walking
in my way. I wanna hear my niggas say. There she go, there she go, there she go, there she go now. If you don't know. Oh sweet, you too cool to sing my song. You too cool to sing my song right now? Okay. I'm gonna try this one more time, yeah. Ooh girl, there goes my baby. Ooh girl, look at you, you don't know how it feels to call you my girl. There goes my
all right. Now, another woman who got put to the test recently was Winnie Harlow. She's a model. I think she was dating like Wiz Khalifa. That's kind of where I know her from. I think she's dating now that feminine basketball player, the nigga who was giving Kyle Kuzma. Okay, she's dating him, and the only reason I call him feminine because I think he was the other side of the double stuffed Oreo with what that nigga name? Lil Baby, right? And plus, the way I seen LeBron handle that nigga, I'm like, yo, there might be some sugar in that tank. Who knows? Anyway, she was at the show with her dude, and Usher starts walking up, and basically Usher about to do it to one of them. Now, she did the best thing ever, and this is what she did. And by the way, her caption said, figured out the secret to the Usher concert. Sit in your man's lap, mamas. She said she chose. Here we go. Yeah, she basically just got on her man's lap and said, nah, nigga. Nah, nigga. Hey. Salute to this chick, man. Like, yo. The only thing about the Keke Palmer thing that I think people were talking about is that, yo, we're living in this society where, like, dudes are essentially encouraged to be emasculated and cooks. So you're supposed to be happy that Usher's serenading your girl, kissing her on the neck, touching and caressing her. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to have any standards. You know, men these days, you're not supposed to have a standard of how your girlfriend or your significant other should act. They can act any type of way, embarrass you in public, and when you get embarrassed, you're supposedly seen as more of a man because you could tolerate it. That's just not the case for many people. And even, you know, Kyle Kuzma, I guess he got some type of law laid down in his crib because she knew what type of time it was. Get your ass up, sit on him, let Usher sing over there. The spotlight gonna be on both y'all. Y'all clap it up for him, and you tell that nigga keep that bumpy dick over there, and nigga keep moving down the road. You feel me? Usher don't age though. What's going on with Usher? Like that nigga do not age. He still look like he's in his 30s, yo. Has Usher ever had a beard? You listen. Does Usher have a beard? Let me look at Usher. Usher concert. Let me see how this shit's giving up. Oh, you do got a beard. You just don't have like a full goatee type shit. He looks super young. Hairline still intact. Okay, you can't really see that. Yeah, Usher looks young as shit. He must be on that same shit that Pharrell be on. How old is Usher? How old is Usher? Oh, he's 44. Maybe it's because he take care of himself. Okay. All right. Let me get back to this YNW Melly thing.
For the sake of proving that Mr. Demons owns a phone that they've already seen 530 photos from.
Judge, with regards to that last video that counsel is taking issue with, this is the absolute last video or audio file that is on this phone before the defendant turns himself in, and he does use that term. However, I think in the totality of the circumstances, it is more probative than prejudicial.
Will you stipulate that he used the phone on that day?
My name is Melly, and I'm gonna turn myself in, but I'm in a suitcase because these private are harassing me, and I have to get on a private jet, and I don't want them to see me.
So in terms of, it shows the defendant just prior to his arrest and booking, and showing that he was turning himself in, which has already been testimony about, that was brought in from the defense with regards to Deputy Naycock, who did the booking prints on this case.
Will you stipulate that he used the phone on that day to avoid the potential prejudice of him offending jurors on the deliberation for Georgia?
Play it again.
Sure.
He looks to me about his real friend. My name is Melvin, and I'm gonna turn myself in, but I'm in a suitcase because these privates are harassing me, and I have to get on a private jet, and I don't want them to see me.
And so
Anything else?
just to be clear, there has been numerous other inflammatory, racially motivated terminology and language that has been used, and there's been no objection on that ground.
We all done? Anything else?
Nothing else.
All right, so regarding the one with the presumably under 13-year-old child on the video, just hold that until I can see what the CFR say. Notice the jury regarding the last video where the Georgia term is used, crackers. Just go ahead and delete it. All right.
So with your permission, and I can take out just that term?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what was
I'll need a couple minutes to do that.
I hope that's enough that
All right, they cut the audio yet again. So Melly's lawyers are still on this one particular, which actually is a really big point. They want to say that that phone is not Melly's. Now, granted, because even though that other guy who cooperated or who was on the stand said, yeah, Melly did leave in that other car, you don't know when he got out, this and third. That phone being in the car means that maybe he got out but left the phone, but it don't make sense because the phone then followed him to the next place. So he couldn't have got out and left the phone. Essentially, that phone is big in identifying how long he was there. Did he go to the spot where the shooting was at? And how was he not hit? Or at least create the scene for where Melly actually shot them. I think the judge is like looking over something real quick. All right. Let me see what else been going on, man. I think there was something on Shade Room I was trying to like holler at too. Okay. Zuckerberg and Elon. I don't really give a fuck about that. Jamie Foxx body, we talk about that. Okay. Real quick, we'll actually play this. So Carl Crawford, the guy who's the owner and operator of 1501 Entertainment, the record label that signs Meg Thee Stallion, but also another woman as well. Her name is Erica Banks. That's Finesse 2Times ex-girlfriend. Remember Finesse 2Times broke up with her and said, yo, like, if a woman gets up first and checks her phone and don't get me right, I'm good. So essentially, that's the woman. But she signed to Carl Crawford. Not a lot of people thought that, you know, she could be like a replacement for Megan Thee Stallion, this and third. They're both from like Houston or whatever the case is. Now, apparently, she's come out with some claims to say that Carl Crawford has stole money from his artists, okay? Apparently, it came out here. She's dropped a song, and then somebody says, I just think she needs a new label, 1501, don't know what they're doing. The girl hard, 1501 for TikTok kids. Lord, hope she dropped them. Bet she come up more. And she says, I'm not with them anymore. Now, here's the explanation.
Google my network and what I made in baseball. Like, wait, I'm not taking nothing. Erica not even making no money for me to take. So I don't even know what this even. I was surprised just as y'all is to hear. Can y'all just go please Google my network and what I made in baseball? Like, we greedy and we stealing money. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Cause last I checked, we 500,000 in the hole with Warner. That's all I know. We greedy and we stealing money. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Cause last I checked, we 500,000 in the hole with Warner. That's all I know. So who owe who money? And that's just a little bit. I'm gonna stop right there. And I ain't gonna even get on the other one, what they owe, because I know, you know, I'll be in court. So who owe who money? And that's just a little bit. I'm gonna stop right there.
Okay.
Saying that I was in and all that type of shit, which I don't. I just like to speak my piece, but, you know, in today's world, you can't speak your truth. Like, it's bad to tell the truth, and it's like good to lie. Saying.
All right, do I think Carl Crawford, you know, I'm always skeptical of like label owners and shit like that. Do I think he's stealing from Erica Banks? Fuck no. I agree with him. Erica Banks' career, despite if you consider it as successful or not, it's not profitable. For like what people don't really realize is like sometimes it takes until the second or third album for a label to actually start making money off of an artist. They usually spend a lot of money in promoting that artist, in trying to get, it's an investment. You're trying to get them to a certain level. So I don't think that there was any sizable money coming in that this guy would be trying to steal from Erica Banks, number one. But here's the thing with artists. Artists always think that, you know, you sign for this contract and then there's a bunch of checks in between. No, you get your advance. After you get your advance, you might have a budget to make your album, right? After that, if you're not booking shows until you turn that album in and you get the other part of the advance, right? So you get half of the advance for the album. When they pick up the option, the other half is when you turn it in. There ain't no checks that come in between then. If you're not booking shows or appearances, yes, you don't get paid for your record label. Now, here's the thing too. When your music isn't profitable because they've spent money in marketing and doing all the other stuff, you don't get paid from the music streaming each week or each bi-weekly or even monthly until your music has recouped. Recoupment is usually not a process that happens even in the first 2 years for an artist on a project. It's usually over time. So you know what an artist usually does? That's why most of them, when they finally get like a song that works, they sign a publishing deal. You know what I mean? Artists get money up front. The only steady money they get is shows and appearances. Your record label ain't gonna keep like. Also, your record label, you might think you about to get paid because the record label will still take on bills for you. Hey, I want to go to here, but I want to fly a private jet. Oh yeah, we'll pay for you. Add it to the bill with a markup. It is what it is, right? Speaking of which, you know who's probably making a bag? I'm trying to figure out what bag he got, low key. Well, I got to figure out Usher's bag too. Pause on all the bags. Yo, Ice Spice producer that stop playing with a Riot. Like that nigga is making a bag. He just signed a Riot signs publishing deal. I know it's big. Like he's produced Munch, all that type of shit. I think this is him. Riot USA, the hit-making producer behind Ice Spice, has signed a publishing deal with Warner Chappell Music. Billboard can't reveal. I need to find out how much money that bitch is. Feel me? I know this shit is gonna be like he's produced all of her, like. If you don't know what drop I'm talking about, I could play it like kind of real quick. Oh, this is how the producer looks? Which one's the producer? I can't tell. This look like father and son. Yeah, he produced on Barbie World. I think he did Munch, or he did Bikini Bottom at least. Yeah, I didn't see the amount of money. All right. I'll play you the drop he has. This is drop
Stop playing with him, Riot.
right there. Stop playing with him, Riot.
How can I lose?
Right there. Okay. So he's getting the bag. If you don't know how producers get money in this game, producers get money usually off of they have a fee per beat, but then they get money on the publishing side. Again, the producer is entitled to half of the publishing from every song, right? Unless, for whatever reason, the artist stiffs you on it and says, yo, you're lucky for me to even get on your beat, which that happens sometimes. In between then, they sign publishing deals, but usually they work off mostly upfront fees. But publishing is definitely huge. Like when it comes to a producer, it's all about publishing because they don't really perform unless you're like a Metro Boomin or something like that. All right. Cool. We're going to get back to the case. Let me see. Is the case back? It looked like it was kind of back. Is it? No, not back yet. All right. What else I was trying to talk about? What do I have Utopia doing first week? 400 or 500,000. Travis Scott is back with the bundles. The bundles are back in did y'all see the bundles yet for Travis Scott? Did y'all see the bundles? Let me show y'all the bundles for Travis. It's like this nigga when Travis dropping, everybody know he opened up basically a goddamn mall. You can cop everything. And it's all Utopia shit. Okay, here we go. So you could get like a CD, a vinyl, and a hoodie, right? And depending on what, you can get them for a couple of different prices. Damn, imagine spending $125. Damn. Well, people do love Travis, so I get it. Then they got a Utopia pack. C2, B5. Yeah, they have a lot of things you could get when you I think I can find on the website Utopia Travis Scott. I think he has a website too. Let me see. Where's the website at? TravisScott.com, right? TravisScott.com. Create your own Utopia. That's a good play on words. You can see instantly it says cart popping up right there. This is why Nicki hate this nigga. Remember when Nicki was so mad at this nigga? Nicki started going crazy on the baby, Stormy. Nicki was wild tight. She was like, yo, this motherfucker selling all type of shit. He's selling baby diapers. He got the baby tweeting out the album. That's why he beat me. Like, yo, she was wildin'. Yeah. Look at all this. This merch fire, right? Yeah, okay. And you keep scrolling down. Damn. Now this thing got a whole damn mall on this bitch. God damn. Now these niggas is selling. Watch, pre-order all. What? Oh, size. What size do you think I wear? XL niggas. All right. I pre-ordered everything. Let's see how much money this is going to come to. All right, bet. Damn. Look how much. Look how. If you pre-order everything on the site, you spend $1,410. Holy smokes. Utopia, CD cover 5. They're selling 5 different versions of the CD just for the CD cover. You want the cover 1? Cop this. You want cover 2? Cop this. Cover 3? Cop this. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not mad at him either. Taylor Swift do this shit. I be wondering why Drake don't do some shit like this. I would much rather Drake do some merch bundles than paint his nails. I ain't gonna lie. Goddamn. All right. Travis is coming, man. Apparently he's having his listening party at the Pyramids. Travis Scott listening party. He's having his listening party in Egypt.
I can't wait to see y'all at the Pyramids.
Yeah! Nobody knows what he's talking about, but
Egypt!
I ain't gonna lie to you. I get these guys love having like an edge and shit like that, but man, I remember when Kanye was like, "Yo, come to Wyoming and be around a campfire while I play my album." And I'm like, no, I'd rather just listen to it at midnight. The hell? The fuck am I going to Wyoming for? This thing, it says, come to the pyramids. Where the fuck are these pyramids? This is in Egypt, right? All right, brother. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will go. But I want to see how many industry motherfuckers are going to make their way over there. I think Travis is loved, though. His album's going to go stupid, and I think he got some good shit cooked up. I think people miss him. All right. Let's pop back in on this trial real quick.
I've had about 240 hours in homicide investigation.
The microphone in front of you only goes up or down. It doesn't move back and forth, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, you may.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Detective. How are you today?
Well, ma'am, thank you.
Where do you work?
City of Miramar.
How long have you worked for the City of Miramar?
20 years.
And what is your current assignment with the City of Miramar?
Homicide unit.
How long have you been in the homicide unit?
Since 2000, I started working in the homicide cases in about 2016.
Prior to becoming a homicide detective for the City of Miramar, what other hats did you wear?
I also worked in economic crimes for a couple of years. Before economic crimes, I worked in street crimes, which is street level narcotics, gangs, robbery, violent offenders. Before that, I worked in traffic unit as well as traffic homicide. And then before that, I was in road patrol.
Prior to your time in the Miramar Police Department, did you work for any other law enforcement agency?
Yes, I worked for Pinecrest Police Department in Miami from 1998 to 2003.
And don't make me do math, 2003 to the current, you've been with Miramar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Prior to Pinecrest, did you serve in the military or any of the armed forces?
Yes, ma'am. I did a total of 20 years in the military. I did 7 years active in the Air Force, got out shortly after 9/11, went into the Coast Guard Reserve, did another 13 for a total of 20 years. I served in enlisted as well as in the officer corps for the Coast Guard.
So in terms of your training and experience as a police officer and a detective, did you attend a police academy?
Yes, in 1997, while still on active duty in the military, I went to St. Petersburg Criminal Justice Center.
And approximately how long was that police academy training?
A couple months.
After you became an officer with Pinecrest, did you have on-the-job training?
Yes, ma'am.
And at Pinecrest PD, did you hold any special titles or roles?
I was a drug recognition expert for field sobriety, impaired drivers. Also maintained the maintenance on the intoxilizer for courtroom purposes.
In terms of homicide specifically, do you have training in just that area?
In Pinecrest?
And all your time in law enforcement?
I've had about 240 hours in homicide investigations. The first class was death investigations here in Broward County. The second one was the Miami-Dade Police Department's Homicide School. And then the third one is through IPTM, which is the Institute of Police Technology and Management. which is another 40 hours of formalized training in the area of homicide investigations. And I attended 3 conferences, which each one is 40 hours long, and specifically 2 homicide investigations for about 240 hours, just a specialized training.
In terms of on-the-job training, do you have practical experience handling homicide cases?
Yes, I started slowly working homicide cases in 2015, just as training. I was basically writing warrants for the unit. I was doing fraud, and so when they were on scene, they'd be at the station, and I would get a phone call to start authoring warrants to be prepared for the judge.
Okay, in terms of the number of homicide cases you've handled since you said 2016 was when you went to that
Yes,
unit?
ma'am.
How many homicide cases, or death investigations, I should say, have you handled since then?
Homicide cases I've been involved in about 40 up to this point. As the lead, maybe 12, 15. The total death investigations, probably another 20 or 30.
So I want to talk about cell phones. Is that another area you have training and experience in?
Yes, ma'am.
What classes have you taken in from Celebrate?
I've been through the basic Celebrate examiner's course to conduct a digital forensic examination of the cell phone, and then interpreting the data from the cell phone as well.
Okay, and in terms of the number of cases that you've worked, could you give an approximate number that involves the data from a cell phone itself?
I've probably handled, over the years, probably 75 to 100 cases, specifically just with cell phones.
What about cell phone company data? The true call, the per call measurement, all of that?
I've been dealing with that since I came into the Detective Bureau. So that would be in 2013. I've had a bunch of specialized training in regards to cell sites. I've been to a forensic mapping course. I've been through with the platform what we use to analyze the cell site data, which is called CellHawk. It's just a different platform. Then I've been to the FBI's course, which is the CAST. And I still use CAST, the CAST platform, but for different aspects of cell site analysis. And I've been through an actual specific course for cell phone investigation, just using the phone in your investigations.
Can you explain to ladies and gentlemen what is CellHawk? That's the first time they've heard this term.
CellHawk is the same. It's very similar to what the FBI uses. FBI uses what's called CASPIS. CellHawk is just a mapping program working off of Google Maps, to which we plot the data for the cell phone. It takes a lot of the work out. I mean, in the past, when we first started to analyzing cell data, we would have to actually plot the towers ourselves, determine what sector, draw the azimuth. Nowadays, we can just take the cell records and put it into CellHawk. We still have to authenticate it, make sure that the data is being read properly, and then we're able to make our determination or apply the data to our case.
So you mentioned plotting and things like that. Do you use mapping software in your day-to-day work as a detective?
Of course. I mean, we just regular Google Maps, Google Earth. It's also a method of open source investigations is using the mapping.
So I'm going to go to October 26th of 2018. Did you have an occasion to become involved in a Miramar Police Department investigation under Miramar case number 18-10-06269?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your role?
I was called out around about 6 o'clock in the morning. Detective Bertrand called me. I was off, was not working. Hector was in his final year and a half of employment, and he didn't want to take on any new cases. He asked me, he said, I have him at the hospital, I have 2 dead bodies, would you mind coming out? Of course I said, yeah, that's fine.
So when you got to the hospital, what did you see?
When I first got on scene, I made contact with the on-scene supervisor, which was Sergeant Bermudez, and he walked me through the scene, which was, at that point, it was just a 2018 Jeep Compass that was parked in the emergency unloading zone. It had many bullet holes on it.
Time out for just a second. Can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how the emergency room unloading zone is separate and different from other areas of the hospital?
It's a pull-up where it has the electric sliding doors that it allows you straight access into the emergency room, which all hospitals are relatively standard in that sense that there's going to be a quick immediate access for a lot of hospital personnel to provide immediate care in triage type situations.
Is the emergency room the only entrance into that hospital?
No, you can come, there's an entrance off of Pembroke Road, and there's an entrance off of 172.
And when you came to the scene, do you remember which side you went to first?
No, ma'am.
Okay. The time when you get to the hospital, you talked about speaking with Sergeant Bermudez. Who else did you see on scene?
A couple of the detectives were already there. Detective Bertrand, Detective Toyota was there, and then also a couple of the other sergeants, because we had 2 young males that were deceased, so it prompted a lot of people to be called out to the scene.
Okay. And in terms of civilians, were there any civilians on scene when you got there?
At that point, I wasn't made aware of all the civilians on scene until after we had spoken with Cortland Henry.
Okay. So you mentioned Cortland Henry. Who is that?
Cortland Henry is the driver of the vehicle, and he is also the co-defendant in this case.
And when you made contact with Mr. Henry, where was that?
They had him separate from everyone else. He was in a visiting a room, a treatment room. It was an actual hospital room with a door, not just a sliding shade. It actually was door, window, bed.
When you made contact with Mr. Henry, did you have any knowledge of the surveillance footage that's been from the New Era studio that's been entered into evidence of State 7?
No, ma'am. At that point, I came into it blindly.
So how did you treat Mr. Henry?
He was a victim of a crime.
So the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have already heard the statement that you took. During the course of that statement, what things in that Mr. Henry said started setting off a little bit of alarm bells for you?
The biggest thing is where the crime allegedly had occurred. We were being told it was on Miramar Parkway, just west of Southwest 160th, closer to 172, in that area there. But when we had the area walked out, we didn't find any shell casings, didn't find any shards of glass, and you're in a residential. Yes, there is businesses there, but on the south side is residential. As many bullet holes there was in that car. Initially, I think I saw at least 10, and we didn't get a single phone call.
Okay. So when you were there on scene, did you look at the car that was out there? You said you saw at least 10 bullet holes?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you notice any damage to the rims or the tires of the vehicle?
No, ma'am.
Did Mr. Henry tell you about a side swiping of a curb?
He said that when a vehicle pulled up next to him and started shooting, he lowered his position in the vehicle for his safety, and he hit the curb, but there was some front-end damage, but you could tell it was older front-end damage.
Was that explained during the course of his statement? That's from a prior accident?
Yes, ma'am, I believe so.
In terms of the way you treated him, what were you taking into account?
He's a victim of a crime. And sometimes when you experience very traumatic situations, you're not going to remember everything. And it's understandable that you're going to be vague sometimes in your facts, and even if you're not from the area, you may be confused on the location. So our biggest thing was that we knew something happened. We knew it just didn't happen where they said it happened.
Why is it important for a law enforcement officer to know where something happened?
Well, we got an established venue, which has been for jurisdiction for us to investigate the crime.
Speaking of venue, in what city, county, and state is Memorial Miramar Hospital?
It's in the city of Miramar, county of Broward, state of Florida.
And at that point, when you're making contact with Cortland Henry, does the name Jamal Demmons come up in any way, shape, or form?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any indication that he was in the car told to you at that point?
No, ma'am.
You mentioned at some point in the statement another shooting off of I-95.
Yes, ma'am.
What investigation did you do to see how that was potentially related to this case?
I was able to get a hold of the detective on scene, which is Detective Curcio from Broward Sheriff's Office, and I was able to compare notes and discuss and figure out that shooting was definitely not related to our shooting. They even had a weapon left on scene, which was, I believe, an assault-style rifle, and we was able to determine that was not related to us.
In terms of, were you able to determine if different caliber weapons were used in those two shootings?
To the best of my recollection, there was different calibers, and at the end of the day, I know they made an arrest on that, and their facts didn't even match up to our facts.
So going on to potential suspects that Mr. Henry gave you, does he mention anyone or point the finger at anybody at that point?
I think he mentioned one name. They may have some beef up from Vero, from some guy named Bentley or something like that, but nothing that we could verify.
And in terms of the beef with Bentley, did he say if it was ended?
I believe his statement, he said it was taken care of, it was squashed.
With regards to an incident at Walmart, were you informed about a potential suspect there?
Yes, there was an incident a few months back at Walmart. I think during his statements, he said first the fight took place inside and it was outside, but I guess the necklace was stolen. It was posted online. But it didn't seem that anything really came of that either.
Okay, so Detective Murray, based on your training and experience, have you had the opportunity to respond to various Walmarts across South Florida?
Yes.
Have you done criminal investigations regarding incidents or crimes that have occurred at those Walmarts?
Yes.
Based on that, do you know how long Walmart keeps video for?
Traditionally 30 days.
And in terms of the time period that was being described to you, was that within the 30 days?
It was way beyond 30 days.
So going back to that morning, did you go with Mr. Henry in the car with Detective Toyota to find out where this incident had happened?
No, Mr. Henry rode with Detective Toyota, and it was just them two in the car.
And in terms of the evidence or anything that was reported back to you as the lead detective in this case that was recovered from the street surface of Miramar Parkway between I-75 and 184th?
There was no evidence recovered at all.
So, knowing that you had this location, are there businesses along Miramar Parkway that have surveillance footage?
Yes.
Were you able to go to some of those and retrieve some of that surveillance footage?
Yes.
So I'm going to start with what's been marked as the state's quadruple L, which is a composite of two photos. Counsel, you have a copy? Detective Marty, I'm showing you a composite of two images which have been labeled as state triple L. Do you recognize those two photos?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you recognize those two photos?
These are snapshots of the video from the McDonald's, the corner of 172 and Miramar Parkway.
And how do you recognize those?
Well, I'm the one that retrieved the video myself personally. But you can see at 3:46 a.m. you see a red vehicle going by, a red SUV, and then at 3:46:57 you see a silver SUV going by, which was consistent with the two vehicles.
Well, before we get into that, those photos fairly and accurately depict the video that you took from the McDonald's on October 26th of 2018. Are those two screenshots from the video that cover the time frame of this incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Have they been altered or changed in any way?
No, ma'am.
All right, this time the state would request the state's quadruple L and the state's 84.
Any objection? No. You're admitted.
State's quadruple L will be marked state's 84.
permission to publish, Your Honor?
You may.
Starting at States 84, page 1, which is 10/26/2018, 34650.040. Detective Meridian, the screen in front of you is a touch screen, so I'm going to zoom in on the picture a little bit. And can you show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what area of the screen you were talking about?
Right.
If you move, it should show the cursor a little bit better.
Okay.
And so what color did that vehicle appear to be?
Red.
And keeping it in the same location. Moving on to page 2, 34657.840. Is that same circle around the vehicle that was in question in this photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that appear to be a darker colored vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
At what point did you learn about New Era Studios?
When we spoke with Mr. Henry, he informed us that they just came from the recording studios in Fort Lauderdale. And so two of our detectives then responded there, Detective Bertrand and Detective Toyota, to retrieve the video, or just to go there to see what evidence they could recover.
Okay. Once the video was recovered, did you review it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Approximately how far is it from the New Era 805 Northeast 4th Avenue in Fort Lauderdale to the Sunset Lakes 40th Street Guardhouse?
30 miles.
And have you had the opportunity to drive that distance or that route before?
Yes, ma'am.
With regards to the studio video, what's been admitted as State 7, did you review this before or after the search warrant was conducted on the Jeep?
This was before.
Okay. So going to channel 4, 2:17:42 starting time. Fast forwarding here till 2:18:40. Were any man purses, satchels found in that gray Jeep?
No, ma'am.
Specifically, the beige one that's pictured at 2:18:40?
No, ma'am, we did not recover that.
Okay. Continuing forward to 2:19:05. Was a black satchel recovered?
No, ma'am.
Specifically the one that is seen in the individual in the black and white jacket?
Correct.
Okay. Did Mr. Henry have possession of either of those satchels or man purses at the hospital?
No, ma'am.
So after you learn about the studio video, do you have an occasion to respond to a location that's identified as 18521 Southwest 44th Street?
Yes, we went to that before the video was recovered. That was the location where the defendant was residing at the time.
And who else did you know lived there at that time?
I believe the defendant, co-defendant Mr. Henry, Mr. Mills, Mr. Davis, Mr. Glass. I believe they were all living there, as well as the victims.
And in terms of the location of that address, do you know the name of the subdivision it's in?
I believe that's Sunset Lakes.
And where is Sunset Lakes? What city?
City of Miramar.
When you went to that 18521 Southwest 44th address, did you go inside?
No, ma'am.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what it was like when you first got to that location?
At that point, we had already cleared from the hospital. It was probably, the sun was already coming up, so, you know, maybe 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe even a bit later. We went, there was no cars in the driveway. We went to the front door, knocked, looked in the windows. We didn't see anyone.
While you were on scene, did a vehicle pull up?
Yes.
What vehicle was that?
It's the red Mitsubishi.
And who was in that?
Driving it was Dontavius Withers and Adrian Davis.
Did you make contact with them?
Yes.
Without going into what they said, were you able to get a phone number from each of them?
Yes.
Did you see the defendant, Jamal Demons, there at that time?
No, ma'am.
Were you invited into the house?
No, ma'am.
Okay. In terms of the McDonald's video, when time and the continuity of when you did things, when did you go to McDonald's?
I believe that I went to McDonald's the week, this happened on a Friday or Saturday morning, and I was at McDonald's Monday morning.
Okay. So I want to go now to on October 26th. Did you do any additional evidence collection or interviewing of any individuals?
On the 26th?
Yes.
No, I just wrote the search warrant for the Jeep.
Okay. While you were at the hospital, you mentioned that you didn't see civilians when you first got there.
Correct.
Were there any civilians that you made contact with before you left?
Yes.
And who would those be?
There was some of the victim's family there, some of the Phillips family.
No, neither victim has the last name Phillips. You'll have to identify who they are.
The Phillips family was with Chris Thomas's family.
Okay.
There was also I didn't make contact with him. Detective Bertrand did. Trayvon Glass, an Andrew, I forget his last name. He was there. I made contact with the defendant's mother, Jamie King.
Okay. And after you left the hospital and made contact with those individuals, did you do anything else other than writing the warrant and executing the warrant on the gray Jeep?
No, ma'am.
Explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you have to do to write a search warrant.
The search warrant is based upon no probable cause. There's an affidavit, like an application, and then there's the actual warrant. We write the warrant, the application, the affidavit, and then we send it to a state attorney. We find out when the state attorney is on duty. Hopefully we get the way from up early in the morning because we're up. So we send the warrant to them, they review it, and then if they approve it, then it goes to the judge. The judge will then sign it. At this point, we're doing an electronic warrant, so we could submit it electronically.
And in terms of the search of the Jeep, can you start searching it while you're waiting for the judge?
No.
Why not?
Because we don't have authorization to go into the Jeep. We secure it, we can take it, we can hold it, but until that warrant is signed, we cannot touch that vehicle.
So after the warrant is signed, it's executed, are you present for the execution of that search warrant?
Yes.
Why?
I actually have to read the warrant to the vehicle. I know that sounds very strange. It's one of those procedures that's been done for years. I can never explain it, but if it's a house, we have to read it to the house. If it's a vehicle, we read it to the vehicle.
Is that why we see you holding papers with all these warrants?
Yes.
So after you read the warrant aloud and tell the people that are assisting you what you're looking for, what is your role while the warrant's being executed?
I step back. I don't get involved in that process.
Do you collect evidence at that point?
No, ma'am.
Do you indicate which areas may be of interest for evidence collection?
I'll point out that this is who was sitting where. This is what we have, but that's their area of expertise.
After that warrant is executed on the gray Jeep, when are you made aware of the casing that's found in the back seat?
That night, when they collected it.
And going forward to October 27th of 2018, Did you leave Broward County and travel to meet with other witnesses?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you go?
We went up to Vero Beach, into Gifford, to make contact with some of the victims' family.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to, without going into what was said, see Adrian Davis again?
I saw Adrian Davis again. We saw Dontavius Withers again. I believe we saw Chris Thomas Sr. And I think if I'm not mistaken, the girlfriend of Chris Thomas as well.
Was there an occasion in which the application Snapchat was brought up?
Yes.
As a result of learning about a Snapchat, did you author a warrant for Snapchat?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you authored the warrant for Snapchat, which has already been admitted into evidence in various states, what were you looking for?
I was looking for communications between Janelle Demons and Dontavius Withers.
And what were those communications supposedly going to show?
The communication was supposed to show that Janelle Demons sent a message.
Can we approach?
All right, another goddamn sidebar. Yeah, they added white noise to kind of like, I don't even know how they even do that. Anyway, regardless, chat, I'm probably going to be wrapping up here like very shortly. I'll tell you why. Normally I'd be down to give you guys at least like 2 or 3 more hours, but I gotta go do a podcast with Gillian Wallow's pulling up today, so I gotta go meet them and do a podcast. So that's why I'm getting off early today. But yeah. How y'all think you're looking for Melly though? I don't know, man. I've been having the same feeling for the last, like, ever since they started presenting the forensic shit. It feels like it seems likely that one could conclude that he did it, but we don't know what Melly's case is yet. All right, we don't know where Melly's case is yet. So we're at this point. Let me see.
His name is pronounced Demons, D-E-M-O-N-S. Lemons with a D is the way it was explained to me, and I know it's been pronounced different ways here, but it's pronounced Demons. All right. Detective, all right? Demons?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Proceed.
Okay, so going into what's been previously offered into evidence as State 61. The account information, if you could publish what this says, and I'm trying to make it as big as possible, as to who owned this particular Snapchat account.
Okay.
You could read?
Yes, this is the display name is Melly Montana. The email address associated with is mellymontana@icloud.com. The phone number is 772-713-9807. And I guess I think they call it the vanity name YNW Melly.
Okay. And is that display name as it's indicated here?
Yes.
In terms of the IP history, did you do any additional investigation or research into the IPs that were provided?
No.
Going into the...
I'm sorry. Is there objection?
There's no objection, but we need the rest of them.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. We'll take a short recess. Do not discuss the case. Don't form any opinion about the case. Don't allow anyone to discuss the case in presence. Certainly no research. Just leave your notepad on your chairs. Thank you.
All right, and I think they're gonna probably come back for one more session, y'all. I literally got to get off of here. So I'm about to go get this podcast done with Gillian Wallow. By the way, Off the Record returns this week. I got a couple of great episodes ready for you. I know you guys have missed it. I pretty much voluntarily just took time off. Rather than just crank out random episodes, which I can. Like, I like to be very motivated and inspired, and I want to make content. Like, I'm in this place where if I wouldn't make content that I don't want to watch. So despite anything, just like how I stream. If I don't feel like streaming, and if I'm not in that mood, I don't want to stream. So again, that's the whole point. If you've been wondering, like, yo, why hasn't he uploaded an episode in a while? I gotta feel like doing the shit. You get what I mean? All right. Anyway, I'm about to go do that. Go catch up with them, and I'll be back on either later tonight or definitely tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get on a little bit earlier tomorrow. It looked like this case is getting past all the paperwork nonsense, and they're gonna try to call actual witnesses. We finally had one guy that was interesting today, which was the guy who cooperated. He's an interesting person. I'm tired of hearing the cops. The cops are saying all the same thing. They fucked up the investigation. They looked here, they looked there. They've called 20 detectives to basically say this. So we'll figure out what it is. But anyway, people, thank y'all for watching. If you guys didn't hear at the beginning of the show as well, and please, you guys can spam it in the chats. I can't even find my own link. The ticket to is it this? Yeah, the ticket to the Academics and Friends show going down on September 10th is now available. So if you guys are in the New York City area, literally this is like 5 minutes from like Times Square. Actually 10 minutes from Times Square, to be fair. So it's 10 minutes from Times Square. If you're in the New York City area, please, I invite you to come out. If you notice, you're gonna notice a few things. There's a VIP package that also is in. It includes a invite to our launch. So we're also launching the Academy. If you ever want to come see the workplace, where not only I have one part where I shoot Off the Record, you can come see that, and then the rest of the content space, we're kind of like launching at that point too. So if you guys do get VIP tickets, I know you guys obviously have been invested in this mission for a long time. So I would love for you guys to, come to the opening and, just come check out everything, which will be going on that weekend as well. All right. Yo, let me get out of here. I'm going to get showered and shit. I ain't going to lie. I definitely did not brush my teeth before I got up on this bitch today. So I got to go do it now. No kissing. You feel me? All right. Out of here. I'll see you guys either later tonight or tomorrow. Love. Peace.